All right, cool. What's going on? Welcome to Work Friends Podcast. I'm Tyler, joined here today by my good buddy Brandon. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Just happy to be here. Happy to join on this adventure.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, I'm glad to have you here. For real, like I've been having so much fun just like recording with my friends so far and just kind of figuring out what they do. And really, the whole point of this podcast was for me to kind of, I don't know what anyone does. I don't understand anything, You can tell me what you do for a living. You can say you're a service manager or a service, whatever. And I have no idea what that means. So really, I just kind of wanted to talk with you and figure out what's going on.
It's very interesting because I listened to the first two podcasts, and it is our friend group, we are very tight, and we see each other all the time. But we also have our own personalities, our own work lives, and we do a heck of a whole lot. Everyone's got interesting stories, work lives, pasts, all of that. Yeah. And it's just neat to come in and be able to talk about it. And it's like, oh, yes, I know you do X, Y, and Z for work, or you used to do X, Y, and Z for work, and, how you got there and what that day-to-day life entails. It's like, we don't really know.
So I guess, do you want to just kind of jump into it? So currently you work for Midas, your service manager, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I think we should kind of start from the beginning. Just so after school, right?
Yeah, so from the very beginning, because all of it kind of plays into each other.
Okay.
So starting off, I know you spoke with your very first podcast with CJ when he did the engineering program and everything. So I was also in that.
What? You were?
Yeah.
You were at the,
LC Bird Engineering, did the
Nice.
program there, had a blast, absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
The entire program was just awesome. I loved every bit of it, every experience of it because of the, all the different projects. It's not just school, because school's boring. It's
the worst.
It was not necessarily for me. I will say I did good in school. I had phenomenal grades and all of that fun jazz. But I hated the class aspect of it, and I really hated the idea of going to college and doing nothing but classwork. Like, this kind of sucks. And so, definitely. But when we hit the engineering program, when I got accepted to that, doing those classes with all the different projects, it made me excited to go to school. I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed when they would give you a problem, and it's just your job to solve it.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I also had a creative twist on it. So I did not want to do anything as far as the traditional path. In my mind, it was, you've given me a problem. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to solve it kind of however I want to.
Sure. And this is in the engineering program at Bird. Same one Allward was in. And yeah.
Yep, same thing.
And those projects you were talking about earlier, it's not like normal school project like where you whatever. It's like you're building a hovercraft or something, and you got to see how fast it is. I don't know, something like that. Or
so my
cool stuff.
Freshman year, first intro to engineering, what have you. The very first class we ever did, first project was you have to build a quote unquote car that was solely powered by a mousetrap. Now you had to go X amount of feet, and as long as you did that, fantastic. Anything. So as long as you went, I think it was like a minimum 30 feet or something. I'm not sure. But it was something along those lines. You had to go a minimum amount of feet. If you did that, you at least passed. Everyone did kind of the same general concept. You put a mousetrap on top of the car. You tie a string around the axle that's tied to the mousetrap. You set the mousetrap off. The mousetrap pulls the spring, which is wrapped around the axle. That spins the axle, causing the car to go forward. But that's what everybody did. And I don't know why. Just glutton for punishment or just interesting character overall. But I wanted to be different. Yeah. So I read the rules. I found all the loopholes. The Lego man could not be adhesive to the vehicle.
Okay.
And it said nothing about whether he had to face forward or not.
I like that.
The vehicle, there's literally no restrictions on the design of the vehicle. Did it have to have four wheels? Did it have to have... None of that was laid out in the rubric.
Nice.
So I took fishing line and I tied a Lego character to the inside of a tape roll, put the tape roll vertical, and the mousetrap just underneath of it. Okay. And then I just hit the mousetrap with my finger and obviously move my finger out the way.
Sure.
It slapped the tape roll, and the tape roll rolled all the way down the hall.
So your car was a tape roll.
My car was tape roll.
Nice. How'd that...
And we fought all year long, me, the teacher, and I. And
sounds like...
Again, it's like, hey... You get a 0. Sorry about your luck, bro.
Why?
And so it's like, okay, that's fine. Class was over. Everybody left, and I stayed behind. I was like, I understand where you're coming from. You're upset. I broke some rules or whatever.
Sure.
In your eyes.
Sure.
But I'd like you to show me the rules that I broke. Tell me what I did wrong.
Right.
Because you said I had to build a vehicle that is solely powered by a mousetrap. Only a mousetrap powered this.
Yeah.
My Lego guy's not adhesive. And nowhere does it say that he has to face forward the entire time.
You're absolutely right. I'm on your side.
And so because he could not find where I technically broke the rules, I got the 100 because I went the furthest.
Nice.
Because it just rolled down the hole for forever.
All right. That rules.
Yeah, so it was just things like that.
Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Yes.
I think is really what we're all.
And so that was my.
That's what we're trying to preach.
That
here.
was my philosophy for every project we had.
Nice. That's my philosophy for life, honestly.
I mean, probably 8 or 9 different projects where it was just silly things like that, where I would just absolutely go crazy outside the box. But I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong at all. That's the thing. Like that was probably in my eyes that kind of makes you the smartest guy in the class. So that was what you learned in high school, LC Bird.
Yep.
That was you were in the engineering program, same as previous guests of mine that will not be mentioned anymore.
And so from there, didn't go to college or anything like that. Applied to a bunch of schools, didn't get into any of them, and I was like, well, this kind of sucks. I guess the college life isn't for me.
Okay. So you were thinking about going to college?
I was thinking about it because it was one of those like, I don't really know what else to do here, but I mean that's what everybody does, right? Goes to college.
Was hammered into us over and over.
You're nothing without college, so it's like, okay, I guess I have to go to college. Well, I didn't get into any of them. Applied to VT, UVA, and VCU, and ODU, all that fun stuff. Just didn't get into anything.
Never to get into.
And so I was like, you know what? At this point, I'm just going to stop trying. So at the end of my senior year, I was like, I'm done. I ain't going to try. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to show up to class. I'm just going to skip.
Yeah.
Because again, problem solving. The whole point of doing good in high school is to go to college. The whole point of go to college is to get a job. Well, at this point in time in high school, I've already gotten a job, and I'm making decent money.
Okay. So in high school, you got a job.
Yeah, I got a job at Doubly Tractor.
Full time?
So part time, obviously, because I was in school.
Okay.
And then I was getting ready to switch to full time when I graduated high school, or just go full time and just drop out of high school.
Sure, why not?
I mean, heck with it.
Yeah.
I couldn't make myself drop out of high school. I was like, you got to at least finish. You got to finish,
Sure.
I gave it my bare minimum, but I did graduate.
C's get degrees, baby. And also D's, I think.
Something like that. So I started working at Doubly Tractor. So I got that job. My dad purchased a dump trailer from this tractor dealership that also sold trailers.
Okay.
And while we were driving by one day, I don't have a license at this point, so I'm riding with my dad. We're coming back from one of the farms that we have, and we were cutting trees down and everything because we just had a big storm. As we're driving by, we see that a tree fell on the property of the tractor dealership. And we're like, man, we got the chainsaws in the back. Let's go in and, one, help them out. Two, figure out what the status is on the trailer that we ordered. Maybe it's in yet. And three, maybe we can get a discount on that trailer.
That'd be nice.
So the owner of the place, because the tractor dealership was just owned by one guy. Little family mom and pop's little tractor dealership.
Okay. This is the
Doubly Tractor.
Okay.
Yep. And so we just started talking and everything. Hey, how's your mom and them? How's business going? Just keeping casual content, just conversation going. And he's like, yeah, we're getting kind of busy. It's in the summer season. It's getting ready to hit us, and a lot of the tractors and implements that go on tractors, bush hogs and what have you, that stuff comes in crates unassembled. And I'm falling behind, so I'm selling the stuff, but the stuff's unassembled. I got to assemble it.
Okay. So he's selling. Clients are like farmers and things like that. Farmers and truckers and things, or
so the dealership sold anything from 0 turns and lawnmowers up to realistically, we didn't get into like the major like agricultural stuff.
Okay.
We left that for a lot of or I say we like I was a part of this, but he left a lot of that to the bigger dealerships, and just stayed mainly around like your 30 horsepower to 100 horsepower range tractors.
Okay.
Which is great for people that have 50 acres or a hunt club or what have you.
I got you.
And so just a lot of people, and for whatever reason around the Chester area, have belong to a hunt club or have a little bit of land or know a guy that has some land where it's like, a tractor would benefit me a little bit.
Yeah.
And he just hit that niche market.
Nice. Okay.
Fantastically. I mean, he hit it. He just excelled at it and made a hell of a living.
Cool. So you were saying he would get the product like the tractors and stuff like that in that he would sell to people.
Yeah. So all of it was Kubota products.
Okay.
And it comes shipped overseas. At the time when I first started there, it was shipped from overseas. Now it's down in Georgia, good old USA.
Good old Georgia.
And but it would come in crates unassembled, not like unassembled like a massive Lego set. It was, it's the main body of the tractor was pretty much assembled. Okay. You would put the tires, the fenders, the lights, and like the bumper, and then if it needed a front end loader on it, you put the brackets for the front end loader and put the front end loader on it.
If it's got like arms and
yeah,
stuff on it.
And then you fill it all full of fluids and what have you. Run the test, make sure it all works, and
Lordy goodness.
It typically would call for about an hour and a half to 2 hours to do a full assemble when you have all the right tools and gantry, cranes, what have you, to make that happen. And then, bush hogs. The main bush hog was assembled, but you would just simply like put the arms on it to attach it to the tractor. So I don't know if you're familiar with what a bush hog looks like.
That was my next question. What is a bush hog?
So bush hog is a giant lawnmower deck, basically.
Giant lawnmower deck.
Yeah, so it's typically comes in 5 foot, 6 foot, widths.
Ooh, yes,
So it's behind a tractor. It's got 2 just giant metal arms underneath of it that just spin really fast, and it just whacks shit until it it falls down. So it's not like gonna cut grass or anything, but it's not designed to cut your yard, because
you're more for like clearing out brush and stuff like that.
Yep.
I got you. Okay.
So a lot of the bush hogs that we would do, basically, you put it behind a 30 or 40 horsepower tractor, and if the tractor will run it over, it will cut it.
Nice. Okay.
That's a general rule of.
Yeah, I just put together the name bush hog. Like,
Yeah. Farmers are not very creative.
Yeah. Well, hey, you don't need to be.
Exactly.
What's that thing? It's the field plower.
I mean, that's how I learned a lot of the stuff. It's like bush hog. Like, what does this do? I mean, it brushes down things. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Hog's bush.
A box blade.
Wait.
What is it? It's a blade that drags the ground, and it's in the shape of a box.
Yeah.
So we call it a box blade.
Well, hell, I thought a box blade was those little cut like box like a box. I was thinking box cutter.
Box
blade, though. I know what you're talking about. It's a big blade that goes in the dirt and right.
Yeah. So it just goes behind the tractor as you're driving forward. You set it down, and it's supposed to like help fill in potholes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's got teeth on it that'll break up the ground.
Yeah.
And then the blade behind it will help smooth it out.
Oh, I was picturing one of those things that like goes behind a tractor and like digs the trough, I guess, that you like put seeds in after.
No, so that's there's a couple different implements as far as
I'm out of my element.
We could get into farming at a different
I would
time.
like to explain farming. Yeah, have farming be explained to me. But we won't do that
now. But yeah, so I basically just said, hey, I'm a high school kid. I don't have a driver's license, but this dealership is also so close to my house. Like, I can just walk or ride my bike here.
Yeah, true.
And so I was like, look, I can come in and make a little money. It's time I get a job. I'm in high school. I'm getting ready to get a driver's license at some point. So let me start working here, man.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, dude, $10 an hour, cash money in hand, just come and build shit. I was like, yeah, absolutely, not a problem.
Not bad.
So I'd come and just show up when after school, on weekends, on days off, if I felt like skipping, whatever it may be.
Sure.
And then especially during the summers, I'd be there. I mean, every day, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I'd be there the 7th, but he wasn't open. And
what are you gonna do?
And I just build things. And then over time, I've always had a kind of a mechanical background. My dad used to street race, so I knew a lot about cars, through that. By holding the flashlight for him.
Nice, yeah.
And, so I had some mechanical background. I'm not by no means,
sure.
But I mean, I'm not stupid when it comes to mechanical things.
Yeah,
especially when they come with instructions. It's
yeah, hard. Definitely that helps.
Yeah. Hey, take this on, put a bolt here, send it on its merry way.
That is helpful.
And especially when it comes to tractors, everything is just giant, chunks of steel. There is no torque specs and you don't have to be fragile like when it comes to cars. You tighten something down too tight on a car, you're gonna break it. True. You're gonna snap something or whatever.
Tractors,
just get the biggest impact you have and just tighten it down till it stops spinning.
Right.
All right, that's tight enough.
Are most big tractors like that still made out of like steel and stuff like old cars used to be? Or
the way the government and the EPA has gotten their hands into a lot of this stuff. A lot of the tractor when I was getting out of the tractor business is right at the peak of when the government was getting in and stepping into. Like all the emissions standards and things of that nature, like all the regens and DEF fluid and stuff like that. That was getting into tractors now, like not just trucks. Like that's now on your farm equipment.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I got out of there when I did, because I was starting to take classes as I was there with W for a while, trying to learn about all this new emission stuff and everything. And it got to the point where it's like now I'm using a computer to hook up to a tractor.
Right.
Like, this is ridiculous.
At some point it seems like a little much.
Yeah, and so, but I mean that started to become a different part of my life anyway. So I was just glad to get out of there at that point in time.
Yeah, I get that.
But I mean that's how I started. It's just hey, I want some money. I can help you. Whatever you need done, I'm here for.
Kind of like a shop helper, I guess, is when you kind of
exactly.
There you go.
And so from there, I spent 6 years in total at W Tractor, and through the years of just me staying. My philosophy was, if someone's going to hand me something, if the boss wants something done, if I don't know, I'll figure it out. So
Okay.
if you just come to me and say, hey, can you do this? The answer is yes or no, but I will get it done. One way or the other, I'll get it done. Don't take it off your plate, put it on mine. I got it.
Okay. Are you ever one to ask for help when you can't figure something out?
Absolutely.
Or,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
If I don't know, I'll be the first one to tell you I don't know. I'm not going
Okay.
to sit here and pretend because that's just going to make things worse. you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
Oh yeah, no, I know how to change the oil in this. I drained the wrong fluid, add the correct fluid to the wrong spot. Next thing you know, the motor's blown
Yep.
up.
Now you owe this lady
Now
a
I
new
look
car.
even way more stupid than if I just simply said, "Hey man, I don't know how to change oil."
For
you
sure.
know.
Yeah.
So if I don't know, I'm gonna tell you. And so that's how I became more and more of a mechanic. There is just, hey, I don't really need any more implements or tractors built. You kind of built them all. We're going into winter. It's our slow season. I had you build more stuff while we were slowing down just to give you something to do because I didn't want to like send you home. But like, there's nothing really left for you to build. I'm sorry. And I'm like, well, I still want a paycheck and everything. I was like, you know, a lot of the farmers are bringing their tractors and stuff into us for us to maintenance and winterize. I can change the oil. You know, I can change the fluids and service things. Like I can do that. What do you do? Pull the drain plug, fluid comes out, put the drain plug back in, top it off full of fluid, smack her on the butt, send her on her way.
Easy,
you know?
easy. Yeah.
So very, very easy. So it's like, oh, well, I mean, if you want to start doing some of the small services, yeah, start doing that.
Nice.
So I started doing that.
And this
then
was
just,
like 6 years in at this point, or?
No. This was, I mean, year one.
Oh, okay. Okay. You were there 6 years total.
Yeah, so I was there 6 years total. And then so I progressed very rapidly throughout the mechanic side of that, of just learning and doing more. And you know, there was one mechanic there that was just absolutely phenomenal, knew anything and everything about tractors and mechanics and all that stuff. He was just a true gearhead. And that's how I learned almost all of my mechanic abilities that I have to me at this point in time, is through him. And so eventually I got to the point where I was the master tech at the tractor dealership.
Okay.
You know, I would do the motors and all that stuff.
So you're getting your hands on at this point.
Yes.
Working on farming equipment.
2-3 years into it at this point. I've been to Georgia, which is where the headquarters was moving to, but that's where the main training is located in the United States for any of your Kubota dealerships and Kubota techs. And went there, got certified, and everything that's Kubota for the turf and the small ag side. So I could do anything tractor-wise from 30 to 90 horsepower and any of the zero turns, whether it be gas or diesel.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And so came back and started doing just anything and everything. I could work on anything and everything when it came to the Kubota stuff. So
okay.
Then also learned a lot about welding there too. Again, it was just one of those like, hey, this customer has a trailer, he knocked a light off. Can you weld the new light back on?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, sure, absolutely. Motherfucker can't. But I figured it out.
But you'll figure it out.
My brother's a master welder. He's an insane welder. I've learned a lot from him about welding, and I've dabbled with it a little bit myself.
I didn't realize you had sorry, hold on. You have a brother?
Yeah.
Wait.
I do have a brother.
Okay.
That's going to have to be a story for another day.
Sure, absolutely.
But so I've learned a lot about welding through him. I'm certified for welding as far as stick and MIG both.
Okay.
And so
You're certified for welding as far as what was it?
Stick and MIG.
Okay.
So there's really three main types of welding.
One of them is TIG, right?
Yep. So
okay.
You got MIG, TIG, and stick.
All right. Yeah.
TIG is for a lot of your thinner stuff, a lot of your aluminums and things of that nature. MIG is kind of the generic that everybody kind of knows, something that a lot of people in the mechanic world have in like their garage at home to just tinker with things.
They can do simple stuff.
Yeah, it's very easy to learn, very easy to use. You just simply put the wire in, squeeze the trigger, and it welds for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so started doing a little bit of welding there. Got more and more into some of the welding and customization projects there. We used to build custom like spare tire mounts for different like gooseneck and dump trailer tires.
Yeah,
so
you would build that. You would like machine that stuff out and build it, or
not necessarily machine it. That makes it sound like it's way more sophisticated than actually went across the thing. We would either order kits, and then I would like weld the kit together and then weld it on the trailer.
I hear you.
Or we would get just like a sheet of steel, and then I would just sketch it out on paper.
Yeah.
So it's not rocket science. I would just cut off a couple brackets, weld them together, grind it so it looked pretty, spray paint it, call it a day.
There you go. But see, relax. It's all right. But sorry for our audio listeners, my dog just freaked out when I moved slightly. No, I mean you simplify it, but I mean I think if I had like a chunk of metal and someone was like, hey, make a spare tire holder out of that, I wouldn't be able to do it. But you could figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. I mean, truly. So
there are a lot of times when I miss doing projects like that, because
Yeah,
it's just, again, it was the creative side. So I did that for a while, and then we had a new service manager that started at that place. So that was the gentleman that communicates with the customers, schedules, orders parts, all that other fun stuff. We as mechanics just sit in the back. That's all we do. We work on the tractors and everything. I don't talk to the customers. I don't do anything. And so he was a good mechanic. I'll give him that, but absolute weird guy.
Oh, yeah.
Very weird. Could not talk to customers. We had a lot of contracts with different companies, construction or landscape.
Yeah.
And
not very personable.
And we lost a couple of those because he was weird. His communication skills were just horrible. He was very disorganized, so it was, I don't know, it was weird. And so finally the owner of the place was like, I need a new service manager. I can't find one anywhere on Indeed. I'm trying to hire one or what have you.
I need someone who can talk to people.
Yeah, and he was like, can you just fill in for a little bit? He's got no problem coming to the back and being a mechanic again. Yep. So I'm going to put him back as a mechanic. I don't need two of you guys back there. I don't know what I'm going to do for you just yet, whether I leave you here as a mechanic or, maybe make you service manager or, fire him. He's like, I don't really know what's going on.
Right.
But can you be service manager for a little while I figure some things out? I was like, yeah, dude, I got you. And I loved it. I loved the job. I loved the atmosphere. I loved being able to wear shorts.
Nice. That's cool. Why were you allowed to wear shorts? Oh, because you weren't in the shop.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear jeans.
I don't need, so yeah, no, a little bit different on that aspect. So it's like, no, I just walk around. I got to look presentable, look nice and everything. And so I did that, and I did very well. And he was like, yeah, no, you're just going to be my new service manager. He's going to be the mechanic now.
Nice. So y'all just kind of switched roles at that point.
We just simply switched.
So nice. So at Dubberly though, you really did, like, from high school, worked your way up pretty much to the top.
So I swept the floors. Yeah. And then I ran the service department.
That's awesome. And so, do you mind if I ask, like, what exactly does a service manager do? I don't really understand. So you manage all the mechanics, and I guess you send them their jobs and like what they're working on for that day, and then just kind of make sure stuff's done.
So your job is to, one, deal with the mechanics. So make sure that they have their schedule, make sure that they have what they need as far as, hey, this is what you have to work on. This is a time frame that it's promised to the customer. And here's all your parts. If you need anything else, whatever, you let me know. Otherwise, do your thing. I'm going to trust you to do your job while I go do mine.
And you just leave them.
And then I leave them alone. And then obviously, if they need something, they need more parts, they need more time or whatever, come talk to me. And then it's my job to be the liaison between the actual mechanic doing the work and the customer themselves. So I would inform the customer, this is why you brought it to us. This is what we've done for you for this. I need more. I need less. I need whatever. I would be I would communicate with the customer what all is needed for whatever piece of equipment that you brought me.
Okay.
Now at this tractor dealership, I had a little bit more roles as well, as far as like parts inventory and dealing with like the parts side of things as well. Because we don't have the tractor dealership, we don't have the pace that auto shops do. So at automotive shops, you see 40, 50, 60 cars in a day,
right?
And you've got to handle all that, which you need more people. You can't one person talk to 60 customers every single day, quote up what they need, order the parts, manage the schedules for the techs, so on and so forth. A tractor dealership, when how many people have tractors in the Chester area, and then how many of those need servicing on the same exact day?
Right.
It's
not going to line up very often.
Yeah. So I deal with 4 people a day.
Sure.
So that leaves me plenty of time to, when customers walk in and say, hey, I just need to buy this part or whatever, I can sell parts. So I would sell parts and, make sure that we had parts in stock and in inventory. So I would do a lot of that, and then I'd stock the shelves so we had a organized inventory area and things of that nature.
You guys would deal like sell equipment too. So that was, okay,
absolutely. Yeah. And so we were one of the first Kubota dealerships that we created what was called the package deal, because it just kind of made sense. Hey, I'm buying a tractor, so this is obviously your first tractor if you don't have one.
Sure. Yeah.
If you have a tractor, you're gonna want a front end loader. That's a very common accessory to have with a tractor, and a bush hog. That's going to be your main implement. I mean, it's almost why everyone buys a tractor these days.
Pretty much what tractors are for.
Exactly.
It's like the 2 things, 3 things.
And then, wouldn't it be cool to have like one extra implement, a box blade? If you're bush hogging, you're obviously, you've got land. If you've got land, you probably have, gravel driveways, right, gravel roads or paths or whatever that's going through there. So you want to maintain them with the box blade. Well, you're not doing this. You have to get it from our dealership to your house, but your house isn't where you're doing the work. You got to drive to the place. So because we sold trailers, we would create package deals of tractor, front end loader, attached to a bush hog with a box blade set on the very front of the trailer.
Yeah.
We'd strap it all down, and it'd be give us $26K out the door. Boom, here's an entire package. You
Right
bring
on.
your truck, hook up, leave. You have it all.
That rules. You
know?
get the tractor, you get the trailer, you get
Tractor,
everything.
trailer, bush
all the
hog,
accessories,
front end loader,
Nice.
box blade, and 2 ratchet straps to strap it all
Hey,
down.
there you go.
And we had it
Which
all
is important.
strapped down. We put the inspection sticker on the trailer because it was, those have to be inspected just like
Yeah.
cars do.
I
So
did not know that.
yeah, so literally, you bring us the truck and the money, whether we finance it or you pay for it outright, whatever. You hook up the trailer, you leave, you're ready to work on anything, tractor related.
That's pretty tight. That's a good deal too. 26 grand, everything
Yeah.
all included. I mean, that's good.
And
this is a couple years ago too, but I
Yeah.
mean, regardless, it's a good deal.
Exactly. And at the time, I don't know about all the financing stuff now as
Yeah.
far as Kubota is concerned. But I will say all of my years with Kubota, all 6 of those years, all of it was 0% interest. Kubota was huge into the, hey, we will finance everything out for you, 0%. 60 months, 54 months, whatever, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And we could, in a legal way, this was not like shady, but like in a legal way.
That was
we
in
could-
a legal way.
Yeah, everything was 100% by the books. We could actually put the trailer into the purchase price. So if you didn't want to obviously stroke a check for $26K for everything, 'cause
Yeah.
who has that? They could very easily just 0% financing, 60 months, get the entire package deal, literally no money down, and you get everything. Finance the full amount, and you have a trailer, tractor, loader, and 2 implements to show for it.
And you don't have to pay a dime for 60 months or whatever it is? Or
No, you have to pay. Well, you finance it for 60 months.
finance it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So
Yeah,
you're paying monthly, but you're not.
Correct. Yeah.
No down payment.
No down payment whatsoever.
No interest
30
for-
days later, you're making your first payment.
Oh.
Blah.
Right on. That's a.
And so
Yeah.
it was huge. And so that really put Doubly on the map. And so again, part of my job as service manager is the salesman would sell all of this stuff, and then they would bring it to me. Like, hey, Mr. Smith, he bought a 3301 package deal.
You write up all the contracts and things like that.
No. They do all of
Oh,
that.
okay.
I just deal with the equipment side. So he would hand me the list. L3301 Kubota tractor standard package deal. So that's tractor, loader, trailer, bush hog hooked to it with the box blade on the front. And I say, cool. When did you promise it to him? Well, I promised it to him tomorrow at 8 a.m. Okay, so now it's my job to, now granted, I have somebody in the mechanic shop that's building these tractors all day long.
Okay.
So all I have to do is just pick one of them that's on the yard that has a loader if it's sold with a loader. And then go hook it up to a bush hog, drive it onto a trailer, put the box blade on it, and then just strap it down. That's all I had to do, and I had to do that by 8 a.m. the next day. I mean, no big deal.
And
So-
the customer would come to you guys and pick it up then? Or?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, as the popularity of that package deal and the 0% financing, no money down for all of it became more and more popular, people from further away were starting to want this and starting to, to purchase it. And we found a funny little workaround that is legal.
Okay.
Again, I am the master of loopholes. That's what I learned through high school.
Picking up on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a funny little loophole that at the time of all of this happening, the state income tax and the state sales tax, how that was, is that if you are from out of state, so you're in North Carolina.
Sure.
You're from North Carolina, you're buying a tractor in the state of Virginia. Well, you don't pay Virginia state sales tax because you're from North Carolina. So you don't have to pay that
All right.
when it comes to agricultural equipment purchases.
Why that specifically, I wonder?
Agricultural, typically gets
Carolina.
tax break. Well, they also get tax breaks.
Huge in
Everybody
North
likes to
Carolina.
help the farmers,
That's true. That's true.
So I mean, even to this day, there's tax breaks as far as if you have agricultural land versus residential, depending on how it's zoned. So that was one of the things that was beneficial to people. Like, hey, I'd like to purchase this. Well, it's like, well, $26K plus sales tax on 5% on 26,000. That's a lot of money.
Big chunk of cheddar.
And so it's like, well, if you purchase it from North Carolina, then yeah, absolutely. Now the difference is if you come and pick it up, now you're in the state of Virginia. You're paying the sales tax.
Hold on. So run that by us one more time. You say that again.
So we sell the tractor in Virginia.
Okay.
You live out of the state of Virginia, no matter what state that is.
Yeah.
And you purchase the trailer, and we deliver it to you. So you don't cross into the state of Virginia. You don't pay sales tax.
I don't pay the Virginia sales tax, right? Okay.
And so I don't know if that's still true to this day.
Sure.
But that's how it worked my 6 years that I was at Doubly.
Gotcha.
And it was awesome.
Okay.
And I profited off that immensely because Damon, the main salesman there, shout out Damon. He was such a father figure to me for sure, and has taught me a heck of a whole lot.
Shout out Damon.
He would sell all the package deals and say, hey, so this customer is purchasing this package deal. It's X amount of dollars. Sales tax on it is $1,600, and you have to drive from North Carolina to us to pick it up, and then you got to tow it all the way back home. What a pain in the tail.
That is.
Wouldn't it be cool if you just stayed at home, propped your feet up, had a nice meal, paid somebody $700 and had them deliver it to you?
I do like when my tractors are brought to me.
Yeah,
personally.
Absolutely. I can tell by your backyard how
Thank
many you got back there.
Yeah.
That's where the hauling side of my life came to fruition. Is all these people would start. I don't know how word of mouth or advertising or whatever. I don't know how it came to be.
Yeah.
But we just started booming and selling in out of state places.
Okay. This is still at Dubberly.
At Dubberly. Yeah.
Right,
So I'm at Dubberly, and we're selling tractors left, right, and center. I'm not, because I'm not a salesman, but
sure.
Selling tractors left, right, and center with package deals and everything. And I would go and deliver equipment.
Nice.
So it's either you can finance $26,000 or you can finance $28,000 and have to drive all the way to the state of Virginia and then drive all the way home.
Yeah.
Or finance $26,000, go to the bank, pull out $600, $700, $800 cash. I'll drive it to you, drop it off. You'd pay me the cash and I'll go home.
That's pretty nice. Little convenience fee.
And so it's kind of the name your own rates, but unless I'm going crazy far, then obviously I'm not going to Canada for $600
or whatever.
I'm not doing that.
Definitely.
No. So my most common run was North Carolina. Did it all the time. Typically, 2 or 3 times a week. I'd get off work at 5 o'clock. I'd hook up to the trailer. I'd go down to North Carolina, drop it off in the customer's yard. They'd give me $600, $700, depending on how far we're going into North Carolina. I'd go home. I'd be home at 9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
$600 cash richer. I just worked the day, so I still got my paycheck.
You also got like a salary pay. Nice. Okay, cool.
And I did that a lot.
Okay, nice.
And so that's when I bought a dually, and I fell in love with that truck. Loved the truck. Did a bunch of stuff to it.
So I gotta ask real quick. So that were you using your personal vehicles when you were hauling these equipment back and forth to North Carolina?
All the deliveries for these tractors, that was through me. That was not through Dubberly.
Okay,
so it's not,
I understand.
Yeah, so it's not like, hey, pay me $600 cash.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that home, give it to my boss, and then my boss is going to give me a cut of it or whatever. Mm-hmm. That was between me and the customer.
You personally and the customer.
Yeah, Damon would offer this as an option to the customer, and if the customer was interested, he would hand me the phone, and I'd say, yeah, bud, I'm free tonight. I'll see you in 4 hours, and just make sure you got the cash ready.
That rules. That's so smart.
And I did talk to my boss about it, because I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to sneak one by you or whatever. Mm-hmm. This is an opportunity to make an insane amount of money
for sure.
as these people are doing it or whatever. And he's like, look, I'll be honest, not interested. Because if I do it, I'm doing it legit. I'm having a business. I'm getting DOT numbers.
He's going to have to do. He's got to do DOT. He's got to get certifications and all that.
You gotta go legit and be have your part of your business be in transportation.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not worth the headache. It's not worth the headache.
But there's nothing that says there can't just be a guy with a big truck and a trailer that can take things for you down there. Yeah.
And so it's like I was just a guy.
Yeah.
That's it. I was
just a guy. Not related to really just outside. No connection.
Now, technically, if you were hauling equipment or hauling anything for profit, especially across state lines and everything, you've got to have a CDL. You got to have DOT numbers and all that other fun stuff.
I didn't know that.
Whether it's business, personal, you're making money off of this. You're crossing state lines. Oops. You need a CDL, and you got to have your DOT numbers. Got to.
Okay, heard that. I will keep that in mind moving forward. Yep.
So it's a very easy reach around.
Yeah.
I'm going down to North Carolina. I get pulled one night. The brand new trailer that we had, none of the lights worked. Mm-hmm. I forgot to plug the thing into my truck.
Oh, that's all it was.
That's all it was. But yeah, I forgot to plug it in, so none of the lights worked. I got pulled over. Cop's super cool about it and everything. He's like, "So what you doing?" I was like, "I'm heading to North Carolina, dropping off this tractor and everything." He's like, "Oh, so you're delivering it?" And then it hit me. I was like, I've got to watch what I say here. So I was like, I'm just going down to North Carolina, bud. That's all I'm doing. He's like, so how much you making off this run or whatever? It's like, what do you mean? He's like, so you're just hauling this? Is this yours? I was like, no, it's not mine. I don't have any paperwork that says any of this is mine right here.
Oh, God.
Actually, here's the paperwork right here for the guy that does own it. Now, of course, I've already talked to this guy, so I know his name and everything. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, so he's paying you to bring this down? I was like, no, this is my buddy, Mr. Smith. We go back a ways. He's super cool. Mm-hmm. He just bought this equipment from a place that I coincidentally work.
Yeah, I'm just doing him a favor.
And I'm actually going down to see some friends in North Carolina, so I'm passing by his place.
Right.
So I told him I'd just drop it off for him. He's like, well, that's mighty nice of you. He's like, how much you paying you? I'm just curious. Now I was like, well, he's not paying me.
Yeah.
Just he kept trying to
trying
to
get you
make
say
that link there.
isn't.
And I was like, no, well, hey, just a buddy old pal. I'm just dropping off for him, and that was my go-to line if I ever got pulled over. Thankfully, that was the only time I've ever been pulled.
Nice. Okay, I was gonna say
while hauling equipment. So
good. Yep. Little asterisk.
So,
Ding.
yeah, so that was it, and so I did that. My most common one was North Carolina. I did that all the time. Was actually very frequent, and because it has to be in the North Carolina state line. There's a rest area as soon as you cross over 95 or 85, either one. And so I would meet people there. I would take $500. That was just my flat rate to cross the North Carolina line because it's only 1 hour.
Yeah.
So, but again, I'm saving you a lot of money, and I'm saving you a lot of time in driving, and so on and so forth. So give me $500 to make it worth my while. And again, I get off work at 5. I hook up my truck and all that other fun stuff while I'm there at work. Right. So I mean, 5 o'clock hits, I clock out, I get in my truck, I'm gone. I head down there, I drop it off in the parking lot. He hooks up, I take my $500 cash, I go home before 9.
That's incredible. And you said you were doing this like 4 or 5 times a week or something like that, 3-4 times a week, somewhere like that.
Yeah. So during our busy peak season,
damn good money for a 22-year-old or however old you were.
So during my peak season, summer and fall, or summer and spring, excuse me, I'd go about 2 to 3 times a week. Would be just a good week. 2 to 3 times a week. Yeah. Damn. And and then it just kind of spread. Like I said, main area was North Carolina. That was just big into, I guess, whoever was doing advertising, however this was happening, wherever we were getting these phone calls from.
Right. It's probably your guy, your sales guy. He's probably out there knocking on doors or something, I guess.
In North Carolina?
I don't know.
I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
Right? But, we did have some... We never got calls, and I never got deliveries from west. But it was all on the East Coast, north and south.
Okay.
So I've delivered... I have delivered a tractor to every state that is on the East Coast.
Holy shit.
So
like even up in New England? And
I've gone to Maine, and I've gone to Florida.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yep.
That's nuts. You've been to every state on the East Coast, and you've probably spent a good amount of time in each one, I would imagine, at least.
So no.
Okay.
No, I am...
you drive there, say peace, and head on home.
All my life, I've always been a homebody. I just want to... I can go out and do things, whatever. That's fine. I can experience life, what have you.
Definitely.
But I'm going home. I'm going home.
I hear you, brother. I can relate. We are currently doing this in my house.
Yeah. So, I would, any of my longer runs, it's just kind of one of those. I would obviously not do those directly after work.
Yeah.
I would, I would set it up with a customer like, hey, let me do it over the weekend.
Sure, it'd be a Saturday
I get off work at 5 on Friday. I'm going to go home. I'm going to pass out and sleep.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to wake up probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And then I'm going to get the show on the road, drive throughout the night so I don't have to deal with traffic, blah, blah, blah. Did quite a few runs to Pennsylvania, a couple to New York, decent amount to Georgia. And then I did one to Maine. I did one to two to Maine. One just into it, and then I did one on the Canadian border. Was a little terrified that I was going to need a passport or something. I was like, I don't know which way these roads are taking me. If
yeah,
they had
sure.
me I was like, I don't really know what's going on. I don't have a passport, you know. So it's like I kept my phone on me. Like we're going to make sure I don't, I don't mess up here.
Not trying to get
but
by the Canucks.
So went, and I would go. I'd have a cooler in the passenger seat beside me. I would fill it with full of ice cubes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want to, I don't want to eat I don't want to eat a lot. I don't want to drink a lot because I don't want to stop. I want to go.
Oh, okay.
I'm driving, and if I'm only stopping to get fuel. That's it.
Yeah.
So I would drive till I'm out of fuel, stop, get fuel, and then go.
Damn.
I don't want to drink a lot of water. I don't want to eat a lot of food because I want to stop, go to the bathroom, or whatever.
Okay.
So I would keep a cooler full of ice because I'd put the ice in my mouth, and the cold would shock me and keep me awake.
Oh.
And when the ice melts, that's how you get hydration. Because it's water.
You're absolutely right.
And so I would just chew on ice and just keep an ice cube in my mouth.
And the cold kept you awake.
And the cold kept me awake so I didn't fall asleep when I was driving. And so I would drive to Pennsylvania. I would unhook, and then I'd drive straight back home. I didn't spend the night, didn't get a hotel, didn't nothing.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, that is... You do like your house. You like being home.
I'm going home.
Yeah, you're going home.
I'm not stopping anywhere. No, I want to go home.
Do you have a dog or anything? You just want to go home?
I just want to go.
All right, yeah.
I like to be home.
I get it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I got to pee. Do you mind if I take a piss break?
Pause it up.
And we're back. What's going on? Okay, we got all the piss out of us. We were talking about... we're going to cut this part out because I don't remember where I left off.
We're talking about delivering tractors.
Correct.
So delivering everything, doing all that.
That is right. Yes, we were talking about delivering tractors. Yes, thank you.
So yeah, that was kind of the extent of my career, I guess you would say, at Dubberly Tractor. Is doing the service manager, that's about as high up as I made it there. Of course, there's, just kind of a family-run shop, so it's not like I had so many positions that you can go up. I mean, that was kind of it. I was either that.
How many dudes were you working with, or how many people? I keep saying dudes. How many employees were there? I don't know if they were ladies or not. But.
Yeah, so I had at any given point either 2 or 3 mechanics in the back.
Okay.
Then there was me that was doing service and parts or what have you.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Had one gentleman that was our main salesman.
Okay.
And then one gentleman that was like, he would sell things, but he was also kind of like just general office-ish manager. Like, he wasn't in charge of any of us. Mm-hmm. He was just more of like, hey, let me make sure the office has supplies. Let me make sure that all of our books are in a row. Let me make sure our state inspection license is good to go and all that fun stuff. Let me make sure I'm ordering tractors and ordering trailers.
He's probably the guy who would like order parts and stuff like that. Like, if you need to do repair, he would be like say I was Fastenal and I wanted to sell you guys hardware. I'd probably go talk to him and be like, hey, you need nuts and bolts?
Correct.
That's probably the guy. Okay.
So, fun fact, mutual friend of ours, John. He's who did our bolts because we had a Fastenal bin at Douglas.
Oh, for real? Okay.
So I didn't see a lot of John. There was another guy that we spent a lot of time, but every now and then I need something specially or whatever. I'd drive up and go see him. I'm like, hey, bud.
Nice.
But that was kind of it as far as my WD tractor career. I think the only thing left that was in that time of my life was. This was also, again, I'm getting more and more into diesel performance. I've got I had a Dodge Dually, had a Cummins in it. I did not keep it stock. People would come and pick up their tractors from our work. We'd sell them a package deal. They'd show up, and of course, you got all these guys that are buying tractors. Of course, they've got a diesel truck or what have you.
Yeah, right.
And so they'd show up, and of course, I like to talk. Hey, tell me about your truck. How you like it? I love diesels, blah, blah. You got that thing deleted and tuned yet? Just out of curiosity. Like, well, no. What is that? Or, I've heard about it, but no, I've just never done it. And I'm like, well, I do that kind of stuff. It's a big passion of mine, big hobby of mine.
For sure.
In fact, there's my truck out there. I'll go show it to you. So I'd show them my truck and everything, show them stuff that I've had done to it.
Do you have a picture of that truck still?
Yeah. So I'll show you all the pictures of that one.
Cool.
But yeah, so I'd show it to them like, man, I really wish I could do that to my truck. And it's like, what? I could do it.
Yeah.
Like,
so this is you working out at Dubberly still.
Yep. So I'm still at Dubberly. This is all while
you got
at
a little
Dubberly.
side. That's so cool that your boss was like cool with you doing that. You didn't care at all.
He's cool with everything.
Yeah.
He's all of this was I would run it by him first, of course. Like, hey, do you want to do this? Nah, if you want to do it, you can, but I ain't doing it. And then same thing. It started off with like, hey, I want to do a little bit of something to my truck. We got all the tools and accessories that I need to work on anything in the shop.
Yeah.
Like, can I just bring my truck into the shop? I don't want to disrupt work hours, so can I do it after hours? He's like, you've got the key to the place, so
Hell yeah.
So just do whatever. I
That's
don't
the coolest.
care.
That would be insanely, like, I can't imagine just having that at my disposal anytime. Disposal, not disposable. Disposal anytime just to go work on, like, shit if I needed to.
Yep.
That'd be the coolest thing ever.
It was awesome, and so that's how
I gotta get a garage.
That portion of my life was born. Is I would just meet all these people with diesel trucks. I mean, literally driving to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, by the way, have you had this deleted? Would you like to have it done? And so I spent a couple nights and I priced up like, hey, if you've got it this year and this model of a truck, this is what it'll cost to do a basic tune. Or basic delete and tune with a little bit extra, or delete and tune with a lot of bit extra. Because as you
the rocket
do the delete
boosters
and
you were
tunes,
talking about.
well, that will not only different tow packages. So, like for example, you can do your bare bones delete kit. You can unplug the components, not take them off, just unplug them so they don't work, and then put one tune on the computer of the vehicle, and then that's it. It's It's technically deleted, technically tuned.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're not spending a whole lot, and it's not the right way to do it.
Sure.
But if you don't have a lot of money and you want this done, I'll take your money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So did that.
Cash only.
So I priced up a little bit of just different options of, hey, this is how long it would take me. This is what I would like to make off of it.
Right.
And then here's the cost of the part. And I never upcharge for the part. I'm not trying to make an insane amount of money and make a business out of this.
Right.
I just like working on trucks. It's fun. I'm having a blast.
And
I'd
you
like to make a little bit of money.
Right. And you were charging for the service of you like deleting it and tuning it up.
Exactly.
Tuning up their,
so I was
their
still
truck or whatever.
making money.
Yeah. You charging them for the parts. You're not going to lose money on this, so you're charging them for the parts, and then you go and do your thing, and they pay you for service.
Yep.
So,
So I would have guys that would bring me their trucks and say, hey, drop it off with me at 5 o'clock when I close. I'll pull your truck into the shop.
Yeah.
I'd delete it, tune it, whatever it is, and I'd stay there till it was done. I'd back it out and then just come to me, tomorrow morning while I'm at work.
That's pretty sick.
And they would give me money and they'd take their truck and go about their merry way.
Yep.
And then eventually, Vinny joined me in on a lot of that stuff. Great friend of ours. He'd come and help me out a lot because he's such a I mean, phenomenal mechanic, absolutely
Yeah.
grade A mechanic.
Good guy too.
And he would help me out with a lot of these things, and we would split the profits, and we'd do more trucks, we'd do more stuff, and eventually we started doing like repairs too. So we had some guys like, hey, my truck's making a weird noise, or this isn't working, or whatever.
I know a guy with that issue right now.
It's like, hey, drop it off at Darberly Tractor and Equipment.
Yeah.
I'll take it into the shop from there, and we'll fix it up. Send you a bill, and you pay it and go about your way.
Pretty
so
tight.
that was a little side business that we had just going on, right after high school, just fixing / modifying trucks.
Definitely. And I'm sure, Dubberly's customer base probably appreciated that. It is just one more thing they can come to Dubberly for, even if it technically wasn't Dubberly. It was Brandon at Dubberly.
And so I'm sure the customers love it because it's kind of like, I have a problem that is truck or tractor or whatever related.
Right.
I just go to this one place and I get taken care of.
Yeah, let me ride up here to Dubberly, see what they got going on, and see if they can help me out.
Yeah, so the customer is always happy, and of course I was always happy because it just, at any point in time when I'm showing up to Dubberly, I'm going to get, a paycheck or two or whatever from something, and definitely. So it was just
a paycheck or two.
Yeah, but it was also doing things that I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed the diesel performance. I enjoyed the working on the tractors and things of that nature. I enjoyed it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge part of my life.
Yeah, that's key. Definitely, especially you there for 6 years. That's a big chunk of your life. How old are you now? 28, 29?
We'll talk about it.
All right, well, we don't need to talk about it.
I'm turning 30 this year.
Oh, that's all right. Me too, buddy. Point is that was a big chunk of your life, and it seems like you got a lot of it kind of set you on the path you're on now.
Yeah.
Kind of really gave you the life skills you needed to be the guy I know you as, and it's a good deal. So this is the thing that I've been dying to know with you in particular, because I only found out recently that you started this company. You had a landscaping business, right, after Dubberly?
Yep.
And after doing everything else. Do you want to get into that? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Was there anything between Dubberly and the landscaping?
Nope. That was actually so.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
So as all this is happening with Dubberly, emissions starts to crack down more and more on trucks and things of that nature. So not quite working on as many trucks as I would want to. Deliveries are still going pretty good.
But you'd stop doing the diesel tune-ups and stuff.
Yeah, but
I
stopped doing the trucks for the most part. But at this point in my life, I bought my first house.
Right on.
And I was living there and just living there by myself.
How old were you? Remember?
21.
All right, damn, you got me beat. I was gonna say I bought this house when I was 25, I think.
Yeah, so
you got me beat by 4 years.
Yeah, no, so I bought that house while I was still at Dudley, just got out of high school.
Hell yeah.
And
good for you.
I think I was 20 going into 21. But yeah, so bought the house, realized that owning a house is kind of expensive. And so I just bought the house, and I'm stocking it for the first time. It's exciting. You buy your first house, you're like, man, I get to buy furniture, I get to buy this, I get to buy that. And,
it's pretty fun.
Me being a person that likes things with engines, it's like, man, I get to buy a lawnmower.
That was cool.
Yeah, so I bought my first lawnmower. Of course, the house that I bought had a very tiny yard, so I bought a push mower. I'll do everything I need to. I cut my grass very quickly with that thing.
Oh yeah.
The neighbors that I had around me also had small yards.
Nice.
And it's like, man, it's kind of expensive. I'm trying my best with all these deliveries and things of that nature, but I just didn't realize the house would be so expensive. So I started going to my neighbors and everything, just shooting the breeze with them. It's like, hey, you want your grass cut, man? I do it for like $20, $30, whatever.
That's not bad.
And then I started doing that. Like I get off work or on the weekends, cut somebody's grass for here and there, and then I cut somebody else's. And somebody else's.
I keep cutting my neighbor's grass for free. I should start charging her. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you think about it, even if you do it for like $10 or $20 or whatever, it's not really any skin off your teeth.
True.
You're not doing anything. You don't mind cutting, especially when you've got small yards. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I was gonna say our front yards are connected, so it's not really fair of me to say that, I suppose.
Right, but also if you think about it, how much of your time are you actually wasting? No,
10 minutes.
You don't take any time with it, and so if you charge just $10, $20, and you just kind of squirrel that away, like
$1 a minute.
I'm gonna set that to the side. I'm just gonna kind of set that to the side. If you do that a couple times, $20 turns into $200, turns into $400, turns into $1,000 or whatever.
That's pretty nice.
And if you just kind of ignore it and just let it sit there and just because I'm living my life off of what my income is now.
Yeah.
So if I just make a little bit extra and just set it to the side and ignore it, act like it's not there, keep doing that for a little while and just watch how fast that stacks up. And then it's like, whoa, I've got $5,000 just sitting here. I don't even really know where that came from.
In cash. Just sitting in a safe.
Exactly. And so that's how landscaping kind of started.
Nice.
Is I did that with kind of my neighbors.
Yeah, just squirreling away, just doing little cutting their grass and squirreling away money.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
just one of those, like, I didn't necessarily need it for, like, the house payment or
Yeah.
anything like that, but it's just one of those, I have a set amount of money that I would like to keep into my savings account or keep in my checking account, and also I like to go out and have fun. I like to go out and eat dinner and,
Yeah, definitely.
and things of that nature.
I get that.
Because at this point in my life, never cooked a meal in my life.
Sure.
I don't cook. Every single
Don't
one of
blame
my meals was, I'm waking up, I'm driving by X, Y, and Z to get breakfast.
Yo,
I'm
there's a
gonna order
McDonald's.
lunch. I'm gonna, go out and sit down and eat a nice dinner. And that was it. I didn't cook at all. And that
I can relate.
that adds up, you
Yeah.
know. And so it's like a lot of my grass cutting money, delivering,
Yeah, all went to
equipment, all that
food.
fun stuff. It went to a lot of food. And I will say it is a regret that I definitely have. I wish I saved that money a lot better.
Me too.
It just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started cutting grass, and then word of mouth came. It's like, hey, can you also cut mine? Hey, can you also cut mine?
Yeah.
And then it just started to get to the point where it's like every day I get off work and I'm cutting a lawn or 2 or 3, and then every weekend it's like, hey, you want to go hang out and do something like this? Gotta cut
grass.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith's grass. I can't do it, and it's just kept being like time consuming. And then while this is happening, I'm also having multiple back and forth conversations with my boss, and it's like, hey, I'm making X amount of dollars a year as my salary. The guy that had the job before me,
Damn, bro, you got X amount of dollars a year?
X amount.
That's so much. That's crazy.
And the guys that had the job before me,
Yeah.
and the guy before him that you said were no good and you fired them, and then you hired me and liked what I did and never had any complaints, both of them made $5,000 a year more than I did.
What?
And I brought this up in conversation multiple times, like, hey, I've been working here for this salary. I think I'm worth the $55,000 salary.
Yeah.
Here's why. Here's what I do. Here's what I bring to the table. And you've never complained about me. You've never had a complaint.
Yeah.
You say you like what I do. And so I did it for less money, because it was a raise from being a mechanic to that,
For
first
sure.
of all. So
Yeah.
obviously I'm going to say yes.
Obviously.
But it's like, I just find it a little insulting that you're not paying me what you were willing to pay everyone else when I'm doing the job better.
Yeah, that's
And
reasonable.
it kept gnawing on me, and we went back and forth with this conversation a lot.
And nothing ever.
And the answer was always the same. You're too young.
What does that mean?
There is no reason for you to be the age that you're at now, making, X plus 5 every year.
I got a couple
should be,
reasons.
You should be thankful that you're at X.
That's
And it's
crazy.
Like, I don't understand why age has anything to do with this.
That's absolute bullshit. That made me mad.
You're 32 years old.
Yeah.
And you're making $6, $7, $8 million a year.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But you're 32. You can't have that because you're too young.
Makes 0 sense.
It doesn't make sense.
That's the dumbest argument I've ever heard,
And
actually.
it-
If you see your boss again, tell him I said that. That's a dumb argument. Because you just told me you bought a house at 21. I can think right now. I mean, I own a house, and I can think of 5 reasons right now why you would need that money. Let me see: electricity, gas, water, mortgage. Food.
My
there you go.
my top reason on why I needed the money is none of your business.
That's also a great answer. I agree.
They're top four right there.
Yeah. How about fuck you? I'm good at this
What
job. Pay me.
What matters is you're willing to pay X amount of dollars for this job, and you're not willing to pay me for that.
Yeah.
But you're willing to pay 2 people that were not adequate
That
enough
were
to
not
do
good
it
at it.
that. So it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And so that just at that point in time, it just really just kept rubbing me the wrong way. So I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to do.
For sure,
I'm out
yeah.
of high school, no extra college or anything like that.
And you hadn't quit at this point either.
No,
You're just looking around.
Yeah, I'm still working there, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm looking around either, because where would I go?
Yeah.
What would I do? Panic did start to set in. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's
as far
reasonable.
as,
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to do? This is all I know. All I've known in my life is going to school and then going and working at this tractor
Yeah,
dealership.
fuck,
And I've
that's
done
true.
some like side stuff, but like in my head, it's like I'm not going to go open a trucking company.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
As an adult, all you've known was that place.
Yeah, that's literally all I've known.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm not going to open a trucking company. I don't know what that entails. I'm a kid.
Sounds
I feel
hard.
like I'm a kid, So
Yeah.
I'm terrified. I don't know what to do with this.
Yep.
I'm not going to go open a mechanic shop. Me and Vinny tossed around that idea.
Yeah.
It was like, how cool would that
I was
be?
gonna ask. Yeah.
But it's like, it's one of those, like, where do you even begin? We're very young. We're fresh into this adulting thing.
Right.
How are we going to buy because if I quit and we open this, we're not going to be able to work out of the shop anymore at
True.
Darberly. So it's like, we got to have our own building, have our own tools, have our own lifts, have our own equipment. Like, the startup costs would be insane. Like,
Yeah, it would be.
How do you do that? I have no idea. So it just kind of, I just stuck around. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe when I get older, I'll get a raise and that'll be okay. I don't really know what to do from here. But while this is going on, I'm still cutting grass.
Yeah.
Eventually, the opportunity arises, and I don't know why I went for it, but the opportunity arose of a local church to do their landscape package, cut their grass, blow the leaves, do the mulch, trim the bushes, do the full everything landscaping at this church.
Yeah.
That also has its own associated cemetery.
Okay.
That also has its own associated house for the pastor of that church. So it's like 3 separate properties.
Yeah.
Maintain a cemetery, mulch it, cut it, blow leaves, pick up sticks, all that stuff year round. Same thing with the house, all year round. Every week, by your minimum, you have to make a visit and do what's necessary to make that property look good. And so I was like, man, it's just landscaping. The mulch, once a year you throw some mulch down, twice a year you throw some mulch down, whatever.
Yeah, I can rake some leaves.
Yeah, just blow leaves.
Yeah.
All 3 properties have wood surrounding them. So I guess I'll go buy a backpack blower and I'll blow leaves and blow them to the woods.
Makes sense. That's a good plan.
Grass, that's easy. Just cut it when it grows.
Yeah.
Mulch, when it's time to put it down, just get it delivered or
Shovel.
go borrow a trailer. My dad's got, obviously, the dump trailer. That's how I started the dump job.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
So he's got the dump trailer. I'll just borrow that, fill it full of mulch. I'll just put it down. This is not hard.
Right. Sounds easy.
Like,
Sounds easy enough on paper.
And I could use the extra money. So I put in a bid for it.
Yeah. And where'd you, so you said you put in where'd you find this job? Like, opportunity arose, like someone told you, like, hey, I know a church, or like you just went online and were like, churches that need grass cut. Like, would you, I don't know. I've never really understood how people find like these kind of like contract jobs.
To be completely honest, the entire construction and landscaping and all that other fun stuff, it's just about who you know.
Really? Okay.
It's all about having the right conversation with the right person at the right time. And that's how the church bid came about. Again, it was one of those, I'm talking about, I'm sorry, I'd love to hang out, but I've got to go cut grass, blah, 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 blah. I just got so much grass to cut. And like, oh, you cut grass? Do you have like a business with it? Or like what? Because I work at a church and we're looking for a new landscaper.
Why, yes, I do. Here's my card.
And I was like, I mean, how legit do I need to be? And they're like, I mean, we can work out the logistics, I'm sure. Just, why don't you take a look at it?
Yeah.
So I did. I typed up a Word document that says, I will do X, Y, and Z for this price.
I will do. Reminds me, have you ever seen that meme where it's like a large guy and he's playing baseball and it's like his birth certificate is written in crown and it's like, I am 6. Or
oh,
yeah.
Yep. Nope,
I am landscaper. I will do this.
Yeah, it's like I cut grass, I blow leaves,
Yeah.
I put down mulch, I plant flowers, I trim shrubs, whatever. Like,
Got it.
This is what I'll do. This is what I'll do it for.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got it.
And you
I was
shit
like,
your pants.
what you mean? They're like, no, you got the bid. You can start January 1st. I was like, oh, well, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And then so I start driving home. And I'm like, this is amazing. And then I get home and I open my garage and I'm like, dude, I have a push mower, one weed eater,
Oh, no.
and no blower.
Oh, no. No blower.
Nope. I had a broom that I would use to like sweep some people's sidewalks or whatever when I did cut their grass.
That's pretty good.
So, but yeah, it's like I just had these 3 commercial properties, one of which is 2 acres and some change, because the church had a back field to it as well, just wide open back field. So it's like, got to maintain that. It's got a front field for aesthetics, blah, blah, blah. Got grass islands, all that stuff. So it's like, I don't know what to do. How am I supposed to do this, man?
Because you had a push mower. Again, this is multiple acres.
Multiple acres at just
3
one
properties.
location. There's 3 properties.
3
so
properties.
One location was massive.
That's insane. You're one dude still.
And it's just me. And I have a full-time job. Like,
I forgot about that. Yeah. Had not quit the other job yet. Yeah.
Yep. So thankfully, this was in the fall when I got this. The contract for the old landscaper ran out January 1st. Okay. Mine picked up that January 1st. And thankfully, it's January. All the leaves have already fallen, so I don't have to blow them.
Right.
So I need to start, I guess, picking up sticks and things. But my next hurdle is going to be mulch, and it's going to be cutting grass.
Yeah, come around
mulch.
March.
I can handle. I'll borrow my dad's dump trailer. I will pay a mulch place to deliver the mulch. I can figure that out.
Yeah, and then you can spread it. And
all I gotta buy is a wheelbarrow and a pitchfork, and I can put it down myself.
That's doable. Yeah.
Grass, I'll figure that out later.
I don't know.
I've got time. I'll figure it out. And so while this is happening, a good friend of mine, he worked for a construction company at the time, and he was also doing like side construction stuff. Doing like gravel driveways, this, that, and the other, what have you, some drainage projects, things of that nature. And so we've been talking and everything. And it's like, man, wouldn't it be like crazy if we, started like landscaping / excavation / whatever, but like we just combined all of our side work into one and like turn it into business. Like, wouldn't that be awesome? He's like, yeah. And I was like, all right. So I just put a bid in on a church and a cemetery and a house, and I got it.
Yeah.
So
now that you
when
said yes.
you want to get started,
now that you've said yes,
yeah. Now that I've trapped you,
yeah.
No takebacks.
So was this church job? This is kind of when you realized like. Maybe I can move into doing this full time, or is that's when you realized?
That's when I was like, "This is what I'll do."
Okay. Oh, so it was
that was the moment where I was like, you know what? If I can't be a service manager at a tractor dealership, because that's all I know that exists, I guess.
Yep.
Because it's either that or suit and tie. That's in my head. That's all that existed, And so I was like, I obviously can't do a suit and tie job because I haven't been to school. Yep. So I know how to tie a tie.
Suit and tie jobs stink.
But yeah, so I was like, there is something that exists out there, and I'm gonna create it, and so I did.
Nice.
So me and him, we teamed up, and we just every day and every night we just started working and trying to figure out like, what do we do legality wise? How do you get a business license? How do you get certified? How do you get business insurance and all that other fun stuff?
You had to figure all that shit out.
Yep, and all it was just a lot of Googling, visiting municipality websites and things, Chesterfield County, and what does it take to get a business license? How do you classify yourself? Do you want to be an LLC or a corporation, or whatever? And so it's a lot of research into figuring out like how we wanted to classify ourselves.
Yeah, like what the differences are. And
exactly. So it's like you hear people do, I am John Smith Grass Cutting LLC. Like you see all that like all the time on the side of like beat 'em up Dodge Dakotas running up and down the road.
For sure.
And so it's like they're trying to be official or what have you, but they're just like not quite like official. Like you're not Schultz Landscaping, you're not Brightview Landscaping or anything like that. And so it's like, well, I don't want to be what is an LLC? Is that like the thing, or what's a corporation? Like what's the difference? And so we learned a lot about it. We filed what we wanted to file, and we did it, all 100% above board, by the books, everything. So we got all of our licenses, got all that stuff in check, got all the business insurance, sent all that in.
Yeah.
And
how long? What was the time frame between like when you got that church contract and when you, I guess, got your business license, got like an official business? Do you remember how long it took between?
So it was August that I got the contract.
Mm-hmm.
The end of October, officially filed as an S corporation, got the license, got all that fun stuff, and then also got a contractor's license, got a Class A contractor's license to go with it.
Nice.
Because you have to have a certain level of contractor's license to be able to legally accept contract jobs for X amount of dollars.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So got all that, got everything certified, all of that stuff. And then November got our first job that was not like, I guess we would call it our first job. It was still for the church, but they were like, hey, I know our old landscapers are out of the way. You're taking over doing all the landscape stuff. That's fine. But we have something that's not in the scope of work, not in the contract of grass, mulch, whatever. We're going to put it up for bid. Obviously, you are our go-to, landscaper because you're contracted to cut our grass and all that stuff. So do you want it? And it's like, sure. What you got?
Yeah.
And they were like, the wood line has a lot of just brush and things of that nature because the whole property is surrounded by woods. And it's like a lot of the brush and vines and everything is really starting to encroach one of the side roads that goes down the property, and it's getting into the asphalt. Now, there's not a lot of trees, it's just a lot of brush and things, but we would like that cleared so it's not, encroaching into the roadway and scratching people's cars.
Yeah, it would
vines,
bother me.
brush, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it for X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And they're like, sure, do it, not a problem, send a bill.
Cool.
Like,
what?
That's how this works?
That was just it?
Owning a business is easy.
Okay.
And, so
owning a business is easy.
Yep. So I went and borrowed a tractor.
Yeah.
And hooked a bush hog up to it, and just ran over everything.
Nice.
Just bush hogged it to holy heck.
Yeah.
We actually went to the store, bought our first backpack blower, and used that to blow the whatever
the
clippings from the bush hog that landed in the road.
Yeah.
Back up there, and it's like, I think that's good. I never really clarified like what the end goal here. Like, what did you want it to look like? Was I supposed to turn this to like manicured grass,
right?
Or like, are you okay with it being like bare woods floor, just nothing going? And so I called him up and I was like, yeah, so I just like bush hogged everything. And so, yeah, it's not touching the asphalt. And they're like, cool.
Right on.
Send a bill.
Great job.
I was like, do you want to come look at it?
Yeah, they didn't
And they
care.
were like, well, is it on the asphalt? Well, no. Did you leave us like, I don't know, good like 5-10 foot buffer between that or whatever? And I was like,
Yeah.
well, the bush hog's, you know, a 5 foot wide bush hog, and I made 2 passes. I was like, yeah, you got a 10 foot buffer, man.
You're golden.
They're like, that's awesome.
That's all they wanted. You're
it.
good to go.
That's it. They don't care.
Don't need to look at it.
Yeah.
That rules.
And so from then on out, it's like, dude, we're going to make an obscene amount of money.
For sure.
Why doesn't everyone start a business? This is easy.
I've been thinking about it. You inspired me.
And so, yeah, it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
We started doing, now spring is starting to come. We're making a little bit of money. Now, granted, the startup of the contract was we get paid at the end of every single month. So
Okay.
the contract amount was divided for all 3 properties, was added together into one sum, divided by 12, and you pay us that amount at the end of every single month.
Okay.
So it's not like a set price per actual task or whatever. It's just we're going to do all of these things. Here's the total of it all for the entire year, divided by 12, make that payment at the end of every single month. And so we utilize that in January and February and March when we're not doing anything but like picking up sticks with our bare hands. We took that money, saved it up, went and bought our first zero turn.
Okay. Nice.
Yep. And so that's how I was able to start cutting the grass there.
From that one job, you kind of saved a bunch of money, and then it kind of compounded, and you were able to kind of upgrade. And
Yep.
nice.
And so that's how I was able to get my first mower. Obviously, I bought a Kubota because I still worked there.
True. Okay, you're
So I'm
still working.
I'm still working there. Yep,
No kidding.
absolutely.
So
still
when?
working there.
All right. So you
So
got
I'm
this.
doing all of this at night or
Yeah.
on weekends.
All right. You got this contract in August. It started in January.
Yeah.
And you were still working.
January, February, all this is still happening while because I still need a paycheck. So I got a mortgage payment.
For sure,
all that
yeah,
fun
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah. No,
All
I bought my first zero turn. Obviously, it was a Kubota because I worked there and I got us an insane deal. Got it at cost.
Nice. Oh no shit! At cost.
Yeah.
That rules. Okay.
So yeah, saved a boatload of money there.
Can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
When you said you borrowed a tractor to do that bush hogging at the church, did you borrow one from Dubberly, or did you borrow one from like your dad or somebody you knew? Or
through having working at Darbley and selling tractors and so on
you
and so
knew a
forth.
guy?
I knew lots of people that had tractors.
Okay.
That
makes sense.
I sold plenty of tractors to people like here in the Chesterfield area, and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much. You take care of my stuff or whatever. You're like the best." Blah blah blah. If you ever want to borrow this thing, come see me or whatever.
Hell yeah, nice.
And sure as heck, it's time came down to it, and I started like running through my brain like. Who of all these people do I believe would back me? Would back what they say?
Right. And actually let me borrow it.
And actually let me borrow it. And so the gentleman that I called him. I was like, "Hey man, how's it going? How you doing? How's the tractor? How's it holding up? What have you been doing with it?"
Yeah.
"Oh, it's been doing a lot of sitting and what have you." So I didn't really think I'd use it. I'm not using it as much as I thought I would, but it's still awesome when I do need it. And I was like, "Man, you need to run that thing more so that way everything stays lubricated."
Yeah.
He's like, "You know what?" I was like, "You know what? I've got a neighbor of mine, a church down the road. We're trying to do some work for him, help him out and everything. You think I could borrow that and maybe go bush hog some stuff for this church? For the people of God?" He was like, "Yeah, absolutely."
For the Lord?
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, dude. You know where it's at? Keys are in it."
Hell yeah, nice.
Cool.
Nice.
So I went, picked it up, did it. And so from there, just picked up a couple of like residential yards as well. Not quite doing any advertising yet because we're still both working full time and we're doing at our regular jobs. And
Okay.
We're just doing whatever side stuff that we can get.
And you said your partner was construction? He had a construction?
Yes, they had a lot of excavation.
Okay.
So a lot of
Excavating.
dirt work and things of that nature.
Gotcha.
Not like building houses, but like
Digging
construction
out.
so like utilities, underground work,
Yeah.
grading, a lot of that stuff. A lot of like the heavier stuff when it comes to landscaping,
Yeah.
not just simply the maintenance, but like setting up a property.
Oh, okay.
And so he was very good with all of that. Phenomenal worker, very knowledgeable, all that stuff. And so now it's starting to get to the point where we're getting another customer and another customer, and it's like every day we get off work and we're cutting grass till we can't see no more. All of our weekends are tied up. We're cutting grass every weekend. Like we're gonna have to make the jump. Like we're gonna have to quit our jobs and we're gonna have to do this. And it's like I don't really know how to. We can't both pay ourselves, a heck of a salary
Right.
off of what we have now, because we're only, what we do now, we're busy, but that's because, 8-10 hours of our day are filled up with our regular jobs.
Right.
Take away that, we have our entire workload that we have now. We can do that in a day and a half. And
For sure.
now we've got the rest of the week doing what? How are we going to pay ourselves, And like a miracle, I'm working at Darby Tractor, and this guy comes in. Again, all this is all about who you know. Right place, right time.
Definitely.
Who you know, who you talk to. This guy comes in, owns his own landscaping business, I guess. It's just him. And this is about summertime when this is happening, about June, end of June, going into July. He blazing hot outside. He comes in absolutely drenched in sweat. He's like, man, I'm getting sick of this. It's so hot. I'm so tired of cutting grass. And every time I turn around, this breaks or this has to get serviced, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how much longer I can do this anymore. I was like, why don't you sell your business? He's like, yeah, I've thought about it. And I was like, no. Why don't you sell your business? I'm serious. Like, why don't you sell it? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would do, but maybe I'd travel some or something. And I was like, I'll buy your landscape business. I'll buy all your equipment, and I'll buy all your customer lists and everything. I'll buy it all right now. He was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I'm really thinking about getting into landscaping, what have you. And so he was like, dude, there's a bar down the road. Let's meet up this Saturday, and let's talk about it.
Okay. So
met him that Saturday, sat down with him at a bar. We all got our drink, me, my partner, and this gentleman. And we hashed out, how many clients do you have? What is the revenue that you bring in every single year? What is the equipment that you have? I know the condition of all the equipment that you have because I work on all your
servicing
equipment.
it. Yeah,
exactly. I know what you have. I know what quality and condition it's in. So I can put the value to that. Yeah. The real question is what is a customer list worth? And so through talking to a lot of people that own businesses, we found out what the standardized practice is for buying business. Obviously, they do the people that we know that do this on much larger scales, multi-million-dollar businesses. Okay. But I was like, it's got to be the same, right? Just obviously smaller numbers. Same principle here. So the standardized practice is, you put a value in at all of your assets and 10% of what your yearly revenue is, and that is what your business is technically worth if you were to sell it to somebody.
So your business is worth whatever you value your customer list at.
Your assets.
Your assets, sorry,
like
everything.
Like your equipment, things that you have that you've had to purchase that are worth something. So like if you own...
The physical stuff.
Yeah, all the physical stuff. So if you own a landscaping business, your trailer, your mowers, your weed eaters, your tools, all that other fun stuff. If you have like a home office, like an actual office, not like your house, but like if you own like an actual office, everything that's inside of there, the table, the chairs, the stapler, the pencils, the pens, the paper clips, all of it.
I do work from home.
What is that worth? Because when you sell it, it all goes to the next person.
Oh, okay.
So everything that in this business that I'm selling to you, it's now all officially yours. So I'm gonna try to get everything I can. I've got 100 paper clips in there.
Yeah.
At a penny a piece, bro, that's 100 pennies. I'm putting that on my valuation.
Yeah,
exactly. And so we valued everything up. We agreed on a price and everything.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, I just glossed over. So I wanted to clarify too. So it was whatever he valued all his business at, all of the assets and everything, all the physical stuff, and then 10% he's adding to that.
No, and so it's
10% of his revenue that he made. Whatever he made last year, he's adding 10% of that. To the total cost. Okay,
and that is what your customer list is worth.
Whoa. Okay, I got it.
And so we figured all that up. We got to a number.
Damn, you bought a business. So not only did you start your own business, you also bought a business. That's incredible. I didn't realize that.
So I emptied my savings.
Yeah.
My partner emptied his savings as well.
Holy shit. Okay.
And we bought it.
Nice.
Because the whole time that we started this business, we both agreed on one thing: debt sucks.
For sure.
I'm not doing this with debt. I'm not doing it. I don't like debt in my personal life. Neither does he. He doesn't. We're going to operate the business the same way. If we can't stroke a check for it, we're not getting it.
That's a good way to operate. To all our listeners out there, I recommend doing that. Now, if you don't do it now, do it now.
Yeah.
Debt sucks.
Yeah, we bought him out. That gave us an additional. I think when we did the transfer, we're paying you 10% of your yearly revenue, what have you, of all the customers that switch. We made sure we put that in writing. Because like if you say you've got 60 customers and I pay you for those 60 customers, but during this transition phase, 20 of them go, dude, I'm not coming to you. I like that guy.
Right.
So if he's not cutting my grass, no one's cutting my grass. I'll let it grow forever.
Right.
Whatever
I'll do it my damn self.
Whatever it may be. So of those that switch, that's what counts, and that's what I'll pay you for. So before the deal was officially legally finalized, we did a walkthrough and visited every house, every property,
and just checked to see
and talked to each customer. Hey, me, so-and-so, I'm getting out of the business.
Yeah.
I'm selling it to these guys.
Oh,
I
he
like
went around
these
with
guys.
you and did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
We did it all together.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
The
that's
three
nice.
of us drove around.
That's a good
for
guy.
Like 3 days, and we went to every single customer and all that fun stuff. Talked to them. Are you switching over or are you not? Are you okay with this? Obviously, we're keeping prices the same for this year because I don't want to make too much of a change on them. We'll keep everything the same, and then we will negotiate like our own prices next year if we want to change it. If we see fit changing, we will, and if we don't, we'll just leave it the same for the foreseeable future.
Definitely. What are they going to do?
And so 90% of the customers stayed, and so that was awesome. So we wrote the check. He went on his merry way and lived his absolute best life.
Yeah.
We stayed in contact for a long time afterwards.
Right.
He traveled, did a lot of weed.
Yeah,
He just was living his best life.
You're allowed to do weed and travel in retirement.
He met a woman. They got married and everything, and
Nice.
she made a boatload of money, so he never worked again. Like we
That's
didn't
the
keep in mind,
dream.
we didn't pay a lot for this business. It was one guy and some customers.
I
Like
hear
it's
you.
not like we wrote him a check for $50,000.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's when we got the jump start that we needed. Like, hey, now instead of having 14 customers in a church, now we're at 70 in a church.
Pretty good.
And it's like, we've got it.
Yeah.
We've got the revenue. We've got the time.
And it was just the two of you still?
There's two of us.
So that was probably enough to where you thought you could jump and pay each other. Okay.
Yep. And so
not pay each other, pay yourselves.
Yeah. So he put in his 2 weeks, and we both talked about it. We were like, all right, one of us obviously has to quit. Ideally, both of us.
One of us has got to quit.
But like also how the business saved up money was that we didn't pay ourselves. We both have full-time jobs, so why are we going to collect a paycheck from the business?
Okay.
The business doesn't have anything. It doesn't have equipment. It doesn't have trucks or trailers or anything. We're buying our first zero turn, buying our first weed eater.
You're right.
All this, we're buying all this first stuff. How are we going to do that if we're paying ourselves? We don't need to pay ourselves. We've got a paycheck from our full-time job.
Yeah.
So every dime that we created and generated went straight to buying the next thing.
Went back into the business.
We bought a trailer. We bought a zero turn.
That's
bought
pretty
some
good.
Weed eaters,
That
so
takes,
on and so forth.
that takes a lot of dedication, too, because a lot of people, if, say there's 10 grand sitting around in a bank account and my business partners, some people will take advantage. Some people you can't trust,
Yeah.
So that tells me you picked the right partner.
Yeah,
And,
I will say throughout the entire escapade of the business and the extent that it was grown, no matter what money was there between us, there was never there was full trust between us. I would trust him with my life, and he trusted me with his. It does not matter.
That rules. It just takes a lot of even on your part too. It takes a lot of dedication to like build. Say you got 10 grand in the bank. You can't touch it because I need this for my business. Like it's an investment in the future. I can't touch it. It takes a lot of dedication. That's what I was trying to say. So and that you picked a good partner for that. So
yeah,
because you can pick a bad partner and
things can go sideways pretty quick.
Yep.
So, but no, and so from then on out, it was just meeting people, doing projects, and just grew it from there for many years.
Also, I just realized I don't know how this story ends. So if your partner ended up, being no good, I can cut that part out.
No, you're
Okay.
fine. No, I'll stand on anything that I say. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, I can talk for hours on all the different things that we did.
Sure.
We had contracts with the state of Virginia to do turf restorations and snow removal at all the rest areas.
Okay. Working for like VDOT and stuff.
Yeah, for
Okay,
VDOT.
cool.
We did
Shout out, Dad.
just a lot of grass, a lot of commercial places.
Would you say it was more residential or more like commercial stuff you're doing, or kind of healthy mix of both?
A good 50-50. I had churches, funeral homes. I had government building in Henrico.
Cool.
We had a.
Oh, and so you're up. I mean, that's 30
We
minutes
did a
from
lot
here.
of stuff. We did a lot of stuff in Henrico, Midlothian, Colonial Heights, Hopewell, Chester, Chesterfield. I mean, it was a good little bit kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
We had multiple churches, multiple funeral homes, and just a lot of residential places. And I will say we did a lot of we had houses that we would charge, $30 for, and all it was we would arrive on scene, pull the weed eater out, and just like swing it around at the 4 foot by 8 foot patch of dirt with grass, I guess you could call it, growing.
Yeah.
And we would just keep it down,
Just keep it
and
cut.
we just charge you like $30 and go about our merry way. And
Nice.
then we had properties where these people would spend. It's a decent side yards, but because of how particular that they wanted it and how well manicured it was and how much time is involved in cutting it, we would charge anywhere $200, $300, $400, every time we cut the grass.
Man, yeah. And you're doing like what, bi-weekly or something?
Twice a week.
2 times a week. Whoa, okay, yeah.
You know, a lot of these lawns that are so well maintained, they grow so fast. I mean, especially in the springtime when you deal with tall fescue grass, you know, if it is well manicured and fertilized, especially when you hit it with that, you know, pre-emergent fertilizer, as soon as that stuff hits, man.
True.
I mean, I can cut the grass in the morning time and have to deal with a bunch of clippings that I have to clean up or whatever. I can come back that afternoon and I can still shave a quarter inch. It grows fast, and so if you do it once a week or once every other week, it's going to get so tall it's going to bog the mower down. Yeah. It's going to leave, you know, clumps of grass so it looks like a hayfield. And again, you're paying a lot of money and water and chemicals and everything to take care of the grass. You don't want to cut it and then it look like crap. You know?
That's true. That's like when I cut it. So.
Yeah. So you know, we had customers that paid for specific patterns in their yards as well. So like diamonds and checkerboards,
the diagonal. Yep.
So we had customers that paid for specific patterns.
Remember at your old house, I came over there one time and I was like, bro, your backyard looks phenomenal. And it was like one corner of the yard had those diagonals in it. Yeah. And I was like, that looks incredible. And you're like, I just cut it.
That's just my habit.
Just doing it normally.
Old habits die hard, you know?
I was like, damn, that looks good.
Yeah. So no, I mean, there's a little bit of everything. And we try to, you know, make sure, again, money's out there in every way, shape, or form. I try to apply the same principle that I had at Darberly into, you know, cutting grass or not necessarily cutting grass, but running a business. I tried to, if someone's asking for something, do it. That's how you make money. That's why we're here. It's like, definitely. Can you do chemicals? I'll figure it out. So then we start doing research on what it takes to apply chemicals. We buy a spray tank and we start, you know, doing weed control and fertilization.
Yeah. After hours lawn care. We'll try anything once.
Or not necessarily.
Wait a minute.
But no, I mean, we learned about irrigation. We did research on that, so we started doing irrigation installs, irrigation maintenance and repair.
That's like, and irrigation installs is like you'll have like plumbing pretty much going under people's lawns with sprinklers.
Yep. So you dig the trenches, you lay all the pipe work.
That sounds hard.
And the funny thing is there's a lot of it is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of math involved in that a lot of people realize. You know. So
bringing it back to engineering.
Different types of grass require different amounts of water. Different irrigation heads can only spray but so far. Different irrigation heads only put out a certain amount of, you know, gallons per minute, gallons per hour, and that translates to the gallons per hour that lands on a turf area. You have to figure out the surface area that you're covering and how long that zone needs to run so it gets X amount of grass or water per day.
I'm making this face because you realize you're doing engineering, you know?
I guess.
You know?
Yeah, I will say I know we've talked about it before of, you know, like what's a job that you think is easy, or most people think is easy, but it's a lot harder. And I would say that would be irrigation. I would say there's a lot more math than people realize, because again, when you're dealing with, you know, beautiful manicured lawns, you know, don't water enough, it dies. Grass dies.
True.
Water too much, it gets fungus, it dies.
Yep.
You know,
grass is finicky.
And so, and again, just like cars and everything else, anything mechanical can break. So if the irrigation head is not spraying as far as it once used to, or it gets clogged or it starts to break or whatever, and it's not covering the area, you'll get patches of brown in your grass.
Yeah.
And so I think that was always the challenging part, is when, you know, a customer call and it's like, hey, I got a brown stripe or a brown circle or brown patch or a dead section or whatever of grass. Why? And it's like, could be for a number of things. Are we cutting the grass or somebody else cutting the grass? Did they cut it too low? Did they not cut it enough? Did they leave the clippings there?
I always cut it too low.
When you're spraying the chemicals, did you walk too slow, so you over applied the chemicals and that burned the grass up?
Yeah.
Do we not have adequate water? Do we have too much water? Do we have fungus? Do we have a disease or anything like that? I think my most interesting story as far as death to grass is concerned, or issues as far as grass is concerned, is
that's the title of this episode, Death to Grass.
I would say the right before COVID, or right around the COVID era, we ran into an issue with this one type of like worm. It's a distinct species of worm. It's weird. It's weird to think about. It's weird to talk about.
I'd like to hear about this worm.
It exists. I promise you.
Yeah.
But there was a time, it was for one year that this
the
worm
uptick?
was just invading everyone's yards.
Motherfucker.
Has nothing to do with houses or anything like that. It feeds off of grass. The state of Virginia hasn't seen it in probably 60, 70 years.
Thank God.
But for whatever reason, the state of Virginia just got a little bit of an infestation, and then once it took off, it took off.
Nematodes, like from SpongeBob. Remember that episode?
Bingo.
Yeah. Nematodes.
Very similar to that. They would come to your yard, and they would just
not leave.
Eat every blade of grass.
Damn.
And then they'd go to your neighbor's yard because they just ate your entire yard. And it happens so fast. Like, hey,
fast moving worms.
I've got a brown spot in my patch. Can you come and take care of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm swamped. I'll be there in like a week. 2 days later, your entire yawn ceased to exist.
That's wild.
And it was insane. You had every chemical company, every maintenance company, landscape company out there.
Trying to figure it
all of
out.
us are working together because in the landscape world, there's an obscene amount of grass that's out there. We are not in competition with each other.
Yeah.
We all work together. I cannot tell you how many landscape businesses all around the Chester and Chesterfield area that we're all in communication with each other.
You don't compete with each other for clients?
Absolutely not. We help each other out.
You work with each other on certain jobs? Or?
We will cut each other's grass for each other.
What?
Yes.
How's that work?
We're so busy.
Oh, because, okay, yeah.
There's so much grass and
Yeah.
not enough. There is no such thing as oversaturation. If you would like to start a landscaping business right now,
you can do it.
Go out there and go cut grass. I promise you. I mean, think about all the people in just your neighborhood alone. How many of them are getting their grass cut by a professional or a want to be professional or incoming professional,
or even like a 10-year-old with a push mower?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's just so many people out there that just need their grass cut. There's so much grass out there. There's just not enough people out there.
Right. I know I've reached out.
Yeah.
I've literally texted you about the idea of like starting my own landscaping business with you. It's not like trying to, hey buddy, you up for round 2?
Yeah.
but
it's just we all work together. Virginia Green, True Green, all your like typical chemical spraying companies. Everybody's just, we're stopping our contracts and we're just trying to kill these damn worms.
That's crazy.
And so we spent probably a month and a half of just every project / thing that we're working on. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, we're putting a stop to it. As stupid as it sounds, we got worms to fight.
I gotta fight worms.
Yeah. And so it was. I
got worm
insane.
problems.
There was a couple engineers from like turf management from Virginia Tech that discovered this is the chemical that you use to keep these worms at bay.
Okay.
To one, get them off your property, and to two, keep them from coming back. And so every landscape supply store, emptied out of this one chemical. Yeah. And we would just go out and buy it, and we would just, whenever the phone rang, which it never stopped, of, oh my gosh, my yard is dying just so fast. Yeah. I'm on the way. And you go and you spray it, and whatever damage is done is done. Ain't nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. I just imagine you like going up, some lady calls you, I got brown grass. You show up, you knock on the door, lady, you got worms.
And it was crazy because it's like all you had to do was just pull up to the property, step out of the truck, and these things are small, but you kneel down and you just kind of move your fingers through the grass, and you can see little like worms moving, and it's like,
ew,
you got the worms.
That's
freaking
worms.
No, and it's we spent a lot of time doing that, and then of course the only thing to do is aerate, seed, and get the grass to grow back. It's going to take time.
After it's dead, you just got to get it to grow back, I guess.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Well, so we are coming up on 2 hours, but I don't want to cut our convo short. It's also getting close to 9 o'clock, so I'm sure you got to get home. But I did want to talk about, like what happened, not what happened, but currently you work at Midas. You're service manager at Midas now? Okay, so I guess really what happened with After Hours and what made you decide to kind of sell it and move on?
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
You look sad.
Broke my leg.
That's right. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, you broke your leg too. You're the second guy on this podcast that's broken his leg.
Yep.
It's not me.
So did that. Put a dampening on the ability to walk.
Yeah, that will do it.
And so I messed it up in the stupidest of ways, and I just messed it up in just the right way that it's interesting. I've got a plate and some screws on one side. I've got some pins and stuff in my ankle to kind of help me pivot. My ankle joint as well.
Yeah.
And it's such a long road to recovery. mean, it was about a good year
Yeah.
to learn to walk again, to do all that stuff that I used to be able to.
You got to remind me too. What'd you do? I don't really remember what you did.
I was mulching a property and
Okay.
just stepped on it the wrong way, fell the wrong way.
Man.
Just a combination of everything
Yeah.
that could go wrong happened.
Damn. Okay.
And so just a very series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, that sucks.
So it really just put me out of the game for a long time. Me and the business partner had a lot of conversations, and things didn't necessarily go the right way. Couple things got some bad blood between us, and
Okay.
it was like I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it. I'm not coming back to this environment. If I am going to come back to the landscaping industry, I'm going to do it on my own.
On your own. Yep.
But the kicker is that I'm not, because
Yeah.
if I was coming back to the landscape industry, I would like to come back to what I built in the first place.
For sure.
That
That was probably hard to step away from.
And that was such a hard thing because it's like the reason why I'm not doing is because I physically can't.
Yeah, that sucks.
My 2 feet, like I can't. They don't pivot the same. Like my left foot, I can bring it all the way back and tilt it all the way forward. I
Yeah.
can't do that with my right foot.
Damn, man.
It doesn't pivot as much. I can't do hills.
Yeah.
Stay right now at the age of 30. As I hate to say this, my mortal enemy is stairs. Stairs hurt.
Stairs
it's
are
hard.
there
When it gets cold outside, it hurts. It hurts to walk. It hurts to do a lot of things.
And all you did was just step off a trailer or something, step down and
stepped off a trailer when I was mulching and just rolled everything the right way.
25, 26, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So I was 27 years old.
27. Okay.
And there's just
Damn.
everything that could go wrong did just in the right time. And,
We're getting old, brother.
Yeah. So surgery, lots of physical therapy, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Ended up just telling them like I can't come back to this in any capacity. I'm long story short, I sold in business. We have not really been in contact since.
Okay. Sorry.
Still got a lot of love for the dude.
For sure. Yeah.
What we did, there's so many memories and stories. I mean, I could talk for weeks, months, days, and years, about all the stuff that I did to the crazy stories and all of that.
Yeah.
But, it's just one of those, at the end of all of that, the amount of trust that we had, the amount of temptation that came between us that was never acted upon because of the amount of trust and love that we had for each other.
Right.
And at the end of everything, he hit me with the, hey, you're going to have to sign a non-compete. You're going to have to sign a, non-disclosure, all that fun jazz.
Yeah.
Before before you can sell your shares of the business. And it's like, I'm not leaving this out of spite for you. I'm not leaving this business. I physically can't walk.
Yeah.
It's, at the time that this is all going down, I just gained the ability to put slight pressure on my foot. I'm still, scooting around like a knee scooter.
I was going to say, you're still hobbling around.
Yeah. While I'm learning to walk again, you're going to hit me with a non-compete, and that was the nail in the coffin right there.
That's understandable.
I've tried reaching out. It hasn't really been successful because at the end of the day, we still had a lot, there. I would like to, reconnect one day.
Yeah.
I'd love to see how he's doing. I'd love to see how things are. I don't know when that'll occur. I'm sure we'll get reconnected at some point in time. But
hell yeah, who knows?
But yeah, that's kind of what really ended that is just the loss of the physical ability to do it.
For sure. Sorry to touch on maybe a sore subject, but that sucks. Definitely losing the physical ability to do something for sure, and then that personal aspect of it too, with your partner and all that. Yeah. That sucks. But yeah, well, anyway, sorry to bring that up, but we'll now you're at Midas though, and you seem pretty happy there. Seem like
I mean everything's going well. Yeah. So again, when I ended that, so when that thing's ended, I'm going through everything I sold. Of course, while this was all happening, I didn't have medical insurance or anything like that.
Sure, because you were on your own.
Yeah, so I was all on my own, all that fun jazz. So obviously, the surgery cost $60,000 for the leg. That was the initial surgery, not including the, physical therapy and so on and so forth, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. That comes with medical bills. Mm-hmm. As I'm sure you understand, working in the medical field a little bit. But yeah, having surgery really sucked. So sold the business, and that was able to pay for all of my medical expenses and things of that nature. Okay. And so yeah, at that point in time, it's like okay. While I'm learning to walk, I can't really do a heck of a whole lot.
Sure.
I've got some savings and everything, so I don't need to go back to work like tomorrow. But
nice.
I got to do something. I can't go the rest of my life without working.
Definitely, yeah, that's hard to do.
Life's expensive. So,
if you figure that out, though, let me know.
You'll be the first to know.
All right, hell yeah.
So it's kind of one of those. Again, I felt like I was in the same boat as when I was at Dubberly. As what is out there? I don't know. Again, so here I am. I've only ever worked at Dubberly, which I got by cutting down a tree, in some business's yard, and that's how I got my job there.
Back when you were literally 15, you said you couldn't drive yet. I think.
I hadn't had my driver's license yet, so it's like that's how I got that job. So, and then I got a job at After Hours because I made After Hours happen. So, no, I've never done a resume, done an interview. Like, how do you?
That's crazy.
How do you get a job? Like, how does this work?
Yeah,
I have. So that was an extremely scary part of my life.
I bet.
I will be honest. A lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the woman that I was with at the time when all this was happening is now my wife.
Hell yeah. I've met her. She's a nice lady.
Yeah, would agree.
She's a good woman.
She helped me through everything. She helped me learn to walk again.
Yeah.
She helped build my confidence back up. She helped me, get to the point where I'm at now of understanding like the adulting world.
For sure.
I would say she knows a whole lot more about it than I do when it comes to how to get these jobs, how to do the interviews.
Yeah.
She's like, let's go on Indeed and build your resume, and
Damn, that's helpful.
And so it's like,
she's a pretty smart lady. Yeah.
Dang, all right. Well, I guess this is how this works now.
Yeah. She knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
Yeah. So she is what has gotten me through this. I'm being honest, during that phase of my life.
Yeah.
Having her is what made me think that there was a light at the end of the tunnel and eventually reach it.
Hell yeah. Nice.
And so, again, it's kind of one of those, like, what do I do? Well, the only thing I've ever known how to do is cut grass, which you can't do that no more,
right?
And be a service manager. So it's like, I guess I'll just type in service manager on Indeed and figure it out.
Makes sense to me.
Typed it in, found a place called Midas, went and applied, and they were like, dude, show up tomorrow for an interview.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. So went, talked to him, and the guy that was doing the interview, he's like the second guy like in charge of all the Midases of Richmond and everything.
Mm-hmm. And he said, Brandon, you have the golden touch. You're hired.
But no, he was, dude's awesome. He's a hell of a mechanic, hell of a manager, all of that. And the interview process kind of was very similar to what you and I are doing right now.
Oh, nice.
He was like, all right, you want to be a service manager and everything, you don't want to be a mechanic or whatever, tell me about your experiences, being a service manager. So I told him, I was like, I worked at Dubberly, I was a service manager there, this is how I got that position, this is why I left, this is what I did in the meantime, and this is why I left that. So there's my life story, bro. And he was like, all right, we're interviewing 6 guys today, so we'll be in touch. And I was like, cool, I guess.
Sweet.
I don't know if you're blowing me off, or is this like a real thing? I don't know how this works. You know?
Maybe I'll hear from you. Maybe I won't.
So I go home. I make it back home. Hanging out with my now wife, and she's like, how was it? I was like, everything was. I'd like to think it was good, but I got hit with the "we'll give you a call." So I don't really know what that means.
Right.
Phone rings. He's like, "This is what we're willing to pay you. You want to start?" I was like, "Sure,
yeah, I'll take it."
Well, absolutely. So I started there, and been a service advisor, service manager kind of ever since. Worked in all of the Richmond stores. I kind of put around, mainly out of the short pump location.
This is where you are now, right?
Yep, that's where I'm at now. That's where I spend all my days. If one of the other stores, somebody calls out or whatever, I'll go in and fill in because I can kind of run any position. I can work up top, check people in. It's whatever. I can go work with the techs in the shop at service advising. I kind of just do whatever you need done.
It's really kind of plug and play. Whatever Midas shop you go to, it's going to be all.
They're all the same, just different people.
Okay, yeah, that's all it is.
Yep,
cool.
And so so started working there. I like what I do. Being as a service advisor, I was
service advisor, not service manager. It's same general.
Service manager, service advisor would be my day-to-day tasks of what I do as far as talking to customers, things of that nature. Managerial stuff just kind of happens in the background.
I hear you. Okay.
I'm not the manager of like any specific store or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of one of those. I do a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. And the gentleman that did my interviewing and everything, he's the actual manager for our specific store. So everyone kind of reports to him and all of that. When he's gone, like right now, he's on vacation for the next week. Yeah. So now I'm the him of the store.
Hell yeah, no rules.
And then same thing that happens in like Hull Street, Scotts Addition, Colonial Heights, any of those locations. Mm-hmm. Service manager's gone, blah blah, whatever. Here I come.
Nice.
That's what I do.
Cool. Here comes old B-Dog.
I love what I do because there's an enigma right now, or not right now, but just in general of every service shop out there that they're gonna rip you off.
Yeah,
and it's such a that's a hard thing to break. It's almost an impossible thing to break. Because how do you convince people that come to you and you're like, you're gonna rip me off?
Yeah.
How do you tell them, no, I'm not? And they believe you. You know, like
yeah,
I can't
definitely.
just say like, hey, you need this. And I'm not saying it because I'm going to rip you off, because I'm not ripping you off. I'm the nice guy. Like,
I promise.
How do you convince someone that you are not the other 99 shops that are truly trying to screw you over?
Just trying to sell you something you don't need, or just trying to fix something that doesn't need to be fixed, or something like that. Yeah, that's the general. I mean, I think the general, in America at least, the general consensus on like most auto shops is kind of that they're gonna try and rip you off. I don't know why where that came. I don't know why that has come up, but I mean,
I feel, well, honestly, it's probably because the people do get ripped off.
They do. Okay,
you know?
yeah,
I mean, that happens. I see that a lot, actually. You know, kind of on a daily basis. Of, hey, so and so said I needed this, and so said I needed this.
They need a second opinion.
Yeah, I want a second opinion. Can you make sure A, that's true, and B, can you give me a quote so I can price match?
Yeah.
You know,
I did that.
And a lot of times it's interesting when. Someone come in and is like, hey, I just went to the dealership. They did my state inspection. They said I passed, but I have to have brakes like right away. So they tried to sell me to them. You know, I don't have the money for it, but you know, it is what it is. Well, I forgot that I needed an oil change, or I wasn't quite due for one, or whatever. So I'm coming to you guys in 3 weeks later. Can you look at my brakes, see if I need them, and if so, can you give me a price quote? And it's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. And so, like, I try to really pride myself on bringing that trust and having a relationship with a customer. You know, so that way you can trust me. Like, I obviously want to earn your business. I want you to for me and my shop to take care of everything car related for you. I want to take that off of your plate. But like, also at the same time, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not going to force you to do anything.
Right.
All I'm going to do is tell you the condition of your car and tell you what I can do for you.
Definitely. My uncle used to work. I have a funny little story for you. My uncle used to work part-time at Lowe's. He's retired. He was like, I think he worked at Norfolk Naval or something for 40 years, and then he retired. He needed something to do, so he got a job at Lowe's. And one time, he was working part-time. He didn't give a shit. He was just hanging out, and some lady came up to him and was complaining to him about something, and he was like, lady, stop. I don't care. All right? It doesn't say Steve's out front. It says Lowe's. Okay? So that's just that your story reminded me of that.
Yeah, but it's like I want you to understand like your vehicle. 'Cause, I mean, your vehicle, for one, is a very expensive purchase. Vehicles are expensive. And two, it is, to a degree, kind of dangerous.
Sure.
You're putting your lives in the hand of a, piece of steel that's traveling at 70 miles an hour, or 80, depending on how fast you like to drive, going down the road. If something breaks or whatever, know, the hub breaks or what have you, the tire completely falls off the vehicle, you lose control of steering or whatever, you're going around a turn, smack a wall at 80 mile an hour. So it's one of those, you should be a little responsible about your car. And I understand, I don't expect everyone in the world to know everything about their vehicles or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would like for people to be informed about what they are putting their lives in every single day at 70 miles an hour going down the road.
For sure, yeah, definitely. And that's a good thing to bring up to your customers.
Yeah,
and get them to trust you.
And so that's what I tell them is, like, I just want to inform you of your vehicle. This is what I can do for it, and this is what it costs if you'd like me to do it.
Definitely.
Otherwise, just know this is the condition of your vehicle, and we can go from there. And I have found that has been the most, I don't want to say like best sales tactic, because I'm not trying to sell you on work.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to inform you of the condition of your vehicle.
Yeah.
I would like to be the one to work on it. I would like to be the one to earn your business, but I don't have to be.
Sure.
I feel like has drawn such an insane, customer base, and has got me my regulars and gotten the feedback that I've gotten from people is, someone will come in and say, the person with the brakes.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, come out here with me. This is what a brand new brake pad looks like. This is what yours looks like.
They've done that to me before. Like, cabin air filter is the easiest one. They always do that every time. But I know y'all do that every time. Yeah. But that's the easy one that, like, they'll show you, this is what a brand new one looks like. This is what yours looks like. Do you want to swap them out?
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's just showing you.
Yeah, just so you're aware. And I like to do that with every aspect of a vehicle. This is what the specifications are for failing state inspection. Mm-hmm. This is what your current measurements are. This is what this looks like, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is what I can do for you. And also, this is kind of your timeline. Like, when people come in for brakes or what have you, it's like 2:30 seconds is failing state inspection.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting at 6 and 7. Do you need to do anything? Absolutely not. No, you've got time. Let's go another, 6,000-7,000 miles for an oil change. Let me look at them then, and we'll just keep you up to date on what the measurements are.
Okay, you don't mean me specifically, right? I need new brakes. I know that.
Well, I didn't know that.
Okay. Okay, anyway.
But yeah, I try to inform that on every aspect of every job, and it's just one of those. This is the truth. This is the condition. and I will do what I can for you.
Yeah, and that actually goes a long way too in building trust, because I feel like, I mean, a lot of people, I don't think it's just me, a lot of people love their cars. Like I love my car, I love my truck, I care about them. I'm attached to my vehicles.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't give a fuck, but some people do.
Yeah.
I don't know. So if I know that my mechanic cares about my car also, it's going to make me come back probably.
And I will say it's been nice to see, like, I don't necessarily want to be rewarded, but it's nice to get the confirmation of, hey, my customers do, trust me. They do like me, because I'll have my customers just bring me random gifts.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, that's cool.
So I do have customers bring me random gifts. It's like, hey, you did such a phenomenal job. I was thinking of you.
Yeah. Someone brought you like cake or something
Someone
like
brought
last
me,
week, right?
I got a customized like double chocolate cake with
Hell
chocolate
yeah.
mousse inside of it that says thank you for your great service.
My customers need to step it up. I'm just saying, I don't get shit.
No,
I get mean emails.
Yeah, she came in, she picked up her car, paid her bill, and then she's like, I want you to have this. She's like, thank you so much for just explaining to me, what was going on with my vehicle. You diagnosed it correct, well, I don't know if you diagnosed it correctly. I haven't driven it, but you diagnosed it. You explained everything in such great detail. You showed me pictures. You showed me videos, and all that stuff. You explained everything. You broke down the pricing. You explained your warranty process, like all that stuff. She's like, and you were just friendly when you did it. She's like, I'm not mad at you. My bill was, $1,000. I didn't plan on spending $1,000 to fix my car and replace the axles and do all this stuff. I didn't really plan for that, but it is what it is. It needed to be done. You explained all that to me, and I'm just, forever grateful with how you handled the whole experience here. Everything was just smooth, efficient, friendly, all of that.
Nice.
And so it's like, here's a cake for it,
That's a good experience for her. She'll come back.
Absolutely.
She appreciated it.
Today, a customer brought me rainbow cookies from U-Crops.
Hell yeah, those are good.
Yep. And so
I know you had one dude brought you I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, but maybe someone brought you possibly some Modelos or something like once or twice. Maybe, I don't know.
yeah, a customer did bring me. That was weird.
I don't know if that's allowed or not, so maybe we'll say it is.
No, he did. We worked on his car, and he's like, I just went to the store and picked up some Modelos. He's like, I don't really know what you like or whatever, but you've just been a cool dude. I picked up an extra 6-pack. Here's some Modelos if you would like it. And I was like, I guess, sure. I mean, I appreciate you,
No, isn't that like what you drink now? Isn't it like
no. No, Miller Lights.
Who am I thinking of that drinks Modelos? Well, Miller Lights are delicious.
We've done Modelos. Eli's on them.
Someone kept bringing them. Maybe it was Vinny?
No, I think it was Eli.
Okay, maybe. Somebody kept bringing them. I know that.
Yeah,
I had a couple in my fridge for a while. I got them though. Don't worry.
I think my favorite customer gift that I've ever been given, however, was so when I did a lot of work at the Scott's Edition location. So in that area, there's obviously college kids and what have you. There's a lot of people, surprisingly, and I want to know more about this, but they are what's called Red Bull representatives. And so they drive around in the Red Bull cars, little tiny little Fiats or whatever with the Red Bull can on top of them.
I've seen them.
And they go to events and sponsorships or whatever. I don't know what they do.
Sure.
No, I really don't.
Have you ever seen Role Models? You ever seen that movie?
I don't believe so.
Paul Rudd's in it. Okay, it's a very good movie. It follows those dudes. They're not Red Bull. It's just some energy drink like salesperson and like his mascot that goes around with them, and they have to they get in trouble. And it's a good movie. It's a good movie. All
right. Well, I'll check it out.
But no, I'll try and get a Red Bull guy on here though.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. I really don't. But it sounds like a cool job. But they bring their cars to us, and we change the oil, we service them, keep them maintenance, keep them up to date.
Yeah.
And then of course if anything breaks, we let them know if they want us to fix it, whatever. But we were their main contact. We're not going anywhere else.
Right.
You guys are cool. We'll just bring our vehicles to you anytime we need anything. And every time, and I mean every time, we drop the car off, we'd work on their car. They'd come and pick it up, and they would give us 1 to 2 cases of Red Bull.
Cases.
Nice.
Yeah, that rules.
Yeah, because they constantly those cars. I don't know if you know this or not, but those cars, the back of them,
it's a cooler, right?
Are coolers.
That's what I thought.
Filled with Red Bull to the top.
That's incredible.
And so,
to the top.
Yep. And weird, but they would leave them unlocked. I don't know if it's just
marketing. I guess
I don't really know. Again, don't know the whole story behind all this. And I wasn't trying to ask too many questions and tempt fate and stop my connect on Red Bulls.
Actually, pretty ingenious, You think about it, leave my Red Bull truck or whatever it is unlocked. It's going to get stolen. It's going to get on the news. There's going to be
free publicity.
That's great. Yeah, that's actually really smart.
Yeah, It's like, and again, I don't know a whole lot. I'm not trying to ask too many questions because I didn't want to ruin my Red Bull Connect. But
right.
yeah, they'd leave it open and everything, and it's like I'm not going to steal it or whatever. But I was always interested. I'm working on your car. I'm gonna look to see what's inside it. And this car is so cool.
I'm gonna snag a Red Bull.
And they were cool. I did. One of the first times that someone brought it in and everything, I talked to them about it. I was like, hey, I'm not trying to snoop or anything like that, but we're working on your car. It's got wheel locks on it. I'm trying to find the key for it, so I'm opening up like your trunk and everything, trying to find the wheel lock key. Obviously, you don't have a trunk. You've got something back here because it's a weird shaped car.
Yeah,
it's like a little with Fiat. Hinges with doors. So I figured it's a trunk like thing. So I opened it. I didn't realize that you had like 14 cases of Red Bull back there. I didn't take one.
Didn't realize it was a walk-in freezer. Sorry.
Yeah, but I was like, that's just super cool. And they're like, yeah, a lot of the cars that look like this, that's what they are, whatever.
Are they? What are you know what they are? Are they Fiats or like little smart cars or?
So different models with different. Yeah, so different ones. All the smaller ones, those are Fiats.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, no, that was cool. We used to always get cases of Red Bull, and that was awesome.
Pretty sick. Do they still come in?
At the Scott's Edition location, not at Short Pump.
Okay.
So obviously I don't see them as much anymore when I spend a lot of my time at Short Pump. But when I go down to Scott's Edition, if they're there, absolutely, I still get my case.
Okay. Hell yeah. Next time I see them.
I think the coolest experience I got was when one of the guys was like, "Hey, I don't know if you're familiar. Obviously we launched new flavors and everything. We're getting ready to launch the watermelon flavor. So this was before the watermelon came out.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so he gave me 2 cans of that. He says, "Let me know what you think about it."
Nice.
I was like, I get to try something that's not even out yet.
I feel so special.
This is awesome. I just changed your oil, man. Like, this is awesome.
This is the best day ever.
Yeah.
That happened to me once. My dad had a friend who worked at like Reese's, like a Reese's factory or something, and he'd always bring like new candies that they were coming out. When my sister and I were kids, he would always like bring us candies and stuff, and there was like, you know what Take Fives are? Or Reese's?
Had one last night.
Dude, they're so fucking good. I remember when those things came out, I was one of the same. He was like, "Here, try this. This is a new thing." And I was like, "This is incredible."
It just,
I feel so special.
First of all, the drink tasted good. But second of all, the fact that I get to try something no one else has tried.
Pretty cool.
Just like, I'm rubbing this in everybody's faces.
Yeah.
It's like, have you had the watermelon flavored Red Bull yet? I'm like, I've never heard of it. I'm like, that's because it's not out yet.
Yeah, but I have it. Here.
Here's the can. The empty can, I drank it.
Yeah.
But here's the...
You can look, don't touch.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. If the Red Bull dudes, if you ever run into them again and you want to know what they do, send them my way. I'll try and interview them.
Definitely do a podcast about them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I'll try and interview them best I can.
For sure.
But all right, man. I don't know. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, I got stories for days whenever
dude.
Whenever we all want to get together, absolutely.
Yeah, we can definitely do this again. And this is a fledgling podcast, so I'm still figuring out what the fuck I'm doing. This show will probably change 40 times in the next year if it's even still going on. You know what I mean? So hopefully it keeps going. But I'd like to keep it going. It's pretty fun.
Whenever you're ready, teach me definitely how to use some of this electronic stuff.
Yes.
Would love to learn it.
Yeah.
And then I will make a list of questions for you, and I will interview you. So that way we can know.
Right.
The gentleman that's behind the mic interviewing everybody.
It's an option.
It's time to figure out what you do.
When I figure it out, I'll let you guys know.
All right, we'll be here for you.
Hell yeah, man. Well, yeah, cool. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Cool, man. Yeah, happy to have you. Bye.